Out of control after drinking, kidnapped by a Yandere female tycoon and taken home. Out of control after drinking, Xia Jiang'an has a wild night with the extremely privileged female tycoon Qin Yuwan. His previously peaceful life is completely shattered when this domineering woman barges into his world.
Qin Yuwan, from now on, you're my man. Xia Jiang'an, Auntie, I refuse.
Calling her Auntie, Qin Yuwan laughs and says, "You don't know how good Auntie is when you're young. Let me take away all your worries." Qin Yuwan constantly teases him, trying to shower him with endless pocket money, wealth, and status. But Xia Jiang'an, being ungrateful, keeps rejecting her advances until the woman shows up at his door to force him into marriage. Reluctantly, Xia Jiang'an ends up getting his marriage certificate with Qin Yuwan. He feels like the sky is falling and his life is over. But when Xia Jiang'an finds himself in danger, his domineering and possessive wife storms in with a few bodyguards, declaring, "Xia Jiang'an, you better remember, you're mine.
Hubby, I'm taking you home."
Chapter 1, The Calm Life is Shattered. The winter in the Magic City was bitterly cold. Xia Jiang'an walked through the night, swaying unsteadily, as if the wind might blow him over at any moment. His heart was cold, just like the winter of this city. At the Magic City Hotel, Xia Jiang'an was alone in his room, looking helpless. Today was supposed to be a happy day, his mother's wedding. But Xia Jiang'an couldn't bring himself to feel happy. Because standing in front of him were several women, or rather, several heavily made up women. They were staring at him with malicious intent.
"Xia Jiang'an, you fool. You seemed smart normally, but when it mattered, you messed up."
He had been drugged, and it was no ordinary drug. Slap. Xia Jiang'an slapped himself hard, the intense pain clearing his dizzy mind for a moment. "Hey, handsome, don't hit yourself. I'll feel bad for you," said a blonde woman, teasing him.
"Feel bad my ass."
Xia Jiang'an cursed, his eyes darting around, looking for a chance to escape.
Soon, he spotted a glass of red wine.
But it was a bit far away, hard to reach. Xia Jiang'an's eyes were sharp and calculating, and he quickly devised a plan.
"Hey, beautiful, can you come here for a second? I want to."
He spoke in a dazed voice, his ears turning as red as ripe cherries, making anyone want to bite them. The blonde woman thought that the drug was taking effect, and a sly smile curled at the corner of her mouth. "Little boy, stop thinking about resisting. I'll make sure you feel good," she said, coaxing him.
"All right."
Xia Jiang'an responded lazily, walking toward her.
"That's better, little boy. Come into my arms."
The blonde woman reached out, preparing for an embrace. None of them noticed that Xia Jiang'an had quietly grabbed the red wine glass.
Suddenly, with a cold look in his eyes, Xia Jiang'an shouted, "Go to hell."
In one swift motion, he smashed the wine glass into the blonde woman's body. Crash!
The wine glass shattered into pieces.
"Arr! That hurts!" The woman screamed in pain.
"Get out of my way."
Xia Jiang'an took advantage of their shock and shoved the blonde woman aside, running toward the door.
"Damn it! This little bastard! How dare he smash a wine glass and hurt my hand? Catch him! I'll make sure he regrets being born."
The blonde woman cursed as her fury grew. Xia Jiang'an's figure quickly disappeared into the elevator, with several glamorous women following behind. One of them, the blonde, was furious, her face twisted with rage. On her left arm was a 6 centimeter long wound, blood flowing from it, a shocking sight.
This was the injury Xia Jiang'an caused with the wine glass shards. The 25th floor, the restricted area of the Xingshi Hotel.
The wide corridor was eerily quiet, with only the sound of Xia Jiang'an's leather shoes echoing against the floor, a sharp thud reverberating through the hallway.
"I can't take it anymore, I feel so hot."
Xia Jiang'an's chest rose and fell dramatically, and he threw his jacket off.
Huh! The door's not locked.
With his remaining sense, Xia Jiang'an noticed light coming from the crack in the door.
"Whatever. I'll just hide somewhere first."
In that moment, Xia Jiang'an's weak rationality completely faded away, and his head spun with dizziness.
"Arr!" He stumbled, losing his balance, and crashed into the door. Bang!
The sudden loud sound was deafening, as though the entire room shook.
"Damn it! My nose, it hurts so much. What the hell is this?"
Xia Jiang'an tried to lift his hand to touch his nose. But instead, his hand brushed against something unfamiliar. Supporting himself on the unknown object, Xia Jiang'an tried to stand up. Get away. In the dark room, a voice rang out, like a deep-sea wave, impossible to ignore. Who are you? Xia Jiang'an stumbled to his feet, his hand reaching for the wall as he switched on the light. And then, a woman appeared before him. She had delicate features, fair and translucent skin, and her phoenix eyes were framed with long lashes that fluttered like fans. Her devilishly attractive figure, with long black hair flowing like silk, shone brightly, and her slender legs were encased in black stockings from Balenciaga, perfectly highlighting her flawless form. Her eyes were as cold as the ancient winds of Alaska. Cold. Too cold. She looked at him with a gaze that carried no warmth. Get out. Xia Jiang'an shook his dizzy head and said, Beautiful, there are bad people outside trying to catch me. Can I hide here for a while? Get out. Qin Yuwan's tone was indifferent, showing no reaction to his words. I won't. Xia Jiang'an's stubborn temper flared up immediately. At this moment, leaving would be walking straight into a trap. Get out. The woman was clearly angry, extending her hand to push Xia Jiang'an out the door. I'm not going. I want tea. Xia Jiang'an began to panic, struggling to free himself from her grip. There were still water stains from the mop on the floor, making it slippery. Xia Jiang'an was stronger than expected. Thud. Xia Jiang'an accidentally pushed Qin Yuwan to the ground, his body falling on top of hers. At that moment, the effects of the drug hit him. His head spun, and his consciousness started to blur. Qin Yuwan's eyes, usually as cold as ice, were now terrifyingly frigid. Her face tightened, and an aura of coldness radiated from her entire body. This audacious man actually dared to touch her. Suddenly, she realized that, contrary to her usual disgust for men, she didn't feel repelled by him. It was the first time in 28 years that she had felt this way. The realization caught Qin Yuwan off guard. Her dark, beautiful eyes locked onto this audacious man in front of her. It was as if her gaze could draw him in, like stars and oceans pulling him into a black hole. My God, why is the floor so slippery? Xia Jiang'an tried to stand up, but it was difficult. Dazed, he extended his hand, feeling the floor for support. He tried to push himself up. But Xia Jiang'an's movements caused Qin Yuwan to freeze in place. You little thing, stop playing with fire. This man actually treated her balloon like a floor. Qin Yuwan's expression turned stern as she spoke with a crisp voice. Huh? This voice is so nice. It feels so good. Xia Jiang'an responded, as if in deep thought. What fire? I just want to stand up quickly. Wow, this floor is really hot. But this floor is so slippery. I can barely stand up. Xia Jiang'an seemed to be getting irritated, slapping the floor with his hand. My God, is this floor possessed? Why is it moving? Xia Jiang'an retracted his hand as if he had seen a ghost. Qin Yuwan's calm, beautiful eyes rippled as Xia Jiang'an slapped the floor. His large hand, like an eagle's claw, grasped her chest. Even someone as composed as Qin Yuwan, who had been in the business world long enough to have the temperament of a steady mountain, was still stunned. It was hard to believe. Man, do you even have a brain? Her body tensed, and her face grew dark. Her eyes seemed to stir with a storm. Yet, Xia Jiang'an, completely unaware of the storm around him, persisted in his struggle to stand up. Qin Yuwan felt as if her body might explode from the discomfort. You little brat, how old are you? Qin Yuwan's voice lowered, her tone rich and magnetic, like the sound of a vinyl record, captivating and enchanting. Her alluring voice echoed again, and Xia Jiang'an's eyes became even more dazed. I can't stand it anymore. This voice is too nice. Upon hearing the man speak so unconsciously, Qin Yuwan's face turned dark as ice, her cold gaze piercing straight through him, as if she wanted to see if this strange man had lost his mind. Had he taken the wrong medicine? Chapter 2, Dreaming of a Super Beautiful Fairy. 5 minutes later, outside room 25 on the 25th floor of the Xingshi Hotel, the beautiful bodyguard, who had just gone downstairs for some business, appeared on time. President, I'm here. I also dealt with a few women who tried to break into the restricted area. Wait. A man entered the young lady's room. The reason why this beautiful bodyguard could become Qin Yuwan's personal protector was due to her exceptional skills and training. Even though the door was closed, the bodyguard could still hear the sound of another person's breath inside the room. Her expression immediately turned cold, filled with murderous intent. President. The bodyguard, agile as ever, pressed herself against the door. Unbeknownst to the man inside, the bodyguard had already drawn a gun, ready to act at any moment. Leave. No one is allowed on the 25th floor without my permission today. Just as the bodyguard was about to break the door down, Qin Yuwan's low, commanding voice echoed through the hallway. It was domineering and authoritative, not allowing anyone to defy her orders. The bodyguard withdrew her hand, standing upright. Yes, miss. Though she had doubts, the president's orders were not for her to question. She only needed to obey without hesitation. The bodyguard turned, her expression neutral, and walked over to the elevator. She stood there as if she were building an impenetrable wall, ensuring no one crossed the line. Inside the room, Qin Yuwan, interrupted in her mood, was clearly displeased. However, her mind had regained its composure. Damn it! Qin Yuwan had almost been seduced by a man. What's worse, that damn man had almost succeeded. Her body had recovered enough to move. She stood up and turned on all the lights in the suite. The dim room was suddenly bright as day. Qin Yuwan suddenly stood, and Xia Jiang'an, who had been lying on top of her, was jolted by her movement and fell to the floor. The sudden fall angered Xia Jiang'an, causing him to grit his teeth in frustration. As the room brightened, Qin Yuwan's captivating gaze locked onto the man in the room. To be precise, this wasn't a man, it was a young boy. He wore a light-colored shirt and dark trousers, displaying a unique sense of style. With short, black hair, a high-nose bridge, and tightly pressed lips, his face was youthful and tender. His handsome features had a fine layer of fuzz on his face, giving off an impression of honesty and innocence. It was clear this boy couldn't be very old. Qin Yuwan even thought he might not yet be of legal age. Although she was someone who always got her way, holding supreme power, she still had her limits. A minor. She wasn't interested. She watched him for a moment before stepping forward with her long, slender legs. She reached down and effortlessly pulled the struggling boy off the floor, lifting him up. Xia Jiang'an tried to break free from her grip, but Qin Yuwan exerted more force and pulled him into her embrace. Without saying a word, she headed toward the bathroom, where the spacious bathtub could easily hold 2 people. She turned on the faucet. It was winter, and the temperature was already cold. The water in the bathtub was ice cold, making the air feel even colder. Looking at the full tub of cold water, Qin Yuwan's expression remained calm, without a hint of hesitation, as she pushed him in. Splash! It's so cold. Too cold. Xia Jiang'an instantly felt as though he had fallen into an ice cellar. His body was frozen to the core. The confusion in his mind cleared as the numbing cold of the water temporarily counteracted the effects of the drug, and his head became clearer. Qin Yuwan, seeing her goal had been achieved, pulled the wildly struggling Xia Jiang'an out of the tub and dragged him onto a snow-white bed. Hiss! Where am I? Thrown onto the bed, Xia Jiang'an frowned, clearly unhappy with the rough treatment. Are you awake now? Qin Yuwan bent down, lifting his chin with her hand, forcing him to look into her eyes. Her gaze was sharp as a blade. Normally, no one would dare to meet her eyes. However, Xia Jiang'an's drug-induced haze had completely worn off, and his mind was still foggy. Looking around, he realized he was in an extremely unfamiliar place. The room was lavishly decorated, almost like heaven itself. Xia Jiang'an thought he was dreaming, and it was the kind of dream he had always wished for. Otherwise, how could he have ended up in such a luxurious place? Soon, Xia Jiang'an realized that in this dream, there was someone else with him. Wow, this woman is so beautiful. If this place is heaven, is this woman a fairy? She is so stunning. Xia Jiang'an's eyes were fixated on the woman in front of him, and he swallowed nervously. Wow, I didn't expect the heavens to treat me, Xia Jiang'an, so well. To let me dream of such a beautiful fairy. At this moment, Xia Jiang'an was completely mesmerized by her beauty. TSK, such a delicate nose and those rosy lips, so seductive. I just want to kiss her. TSK, those eyes are like sapphires. TSK, she is perfect, 360-degree no flaws. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. I'd give her a perfect 10. Xia Jiang'an, thinking this was just a beautiful dream, let his guard down and leisurely admired the woman before him. His calm demeanor, however, caused a moment of surprise in Qin Yuan's cold eyes. Her sharp gaze never left Xia Jiang'an, as if she was trying to figure out what was going on in his mind. She really wanted to crack open this boy's head and see what was inside. Slowly, Xia Jiang'an was no longer satisfied with just watching with his eyes. Looking at the stunning body curves of the beautiful woman in front of him, Xia Jiang'an swallowed his saliva. He really wanted to touch it. Xia Jiang'an had only seen the fair body of the woman in love movies, but none of the beauties in those movies could be compared with the woman in his dream. The plump water ball, the perky buttocks. Xia Jiang'an's ears turned red. However, he thought that this was his dream. Since it was a dream, who was afraid of whom? Thinking of this, Xia Jiang'an's eyes became unscrupulous and looked blatantly. I really want to touch it. The big balloon made Xia Jiang'an's eyes hot. It was too tempting. If it were in real life, Xia Jiang'an would only dare to take a glance and then fantasize about it in his heart. But now it is a dream, his beautiful dream, and he, Xia Jiang'an, is naturally the boss. With this in mind, Xia Jiang'an boldly stretched out his hand and touched the balloon. His eyes were intoxicated, and he said in a tone of praise, "Wow! This is so soft." Qin Yuwan's little face was frighteningly cold at this time, so cold that it almost froze people. Qin Yuwan, was actually teased by someone. Qin Yuwan grabbed Xia Jiang'an's dishonest hand and asked in a deep voice, "Little guy, how old are you?" 18 years old, Xia Jiang'an answered honestly, just saying the 3 words that he was 18 years old. Unexpectedly, the woman's kiss swept over and covered his lips, and stopped him from saying what he was about to say. Chapter 3, he didn't want to step on the sewing machine. Such soft lips. Summer Jiang'an was startled by the real sensation of Qin Yuwan's touch. This kiss was so dominant and overwhelming that it was impossible to resist. Finally, when Summer Jiang'an was about to pass out from lack of oxygen, Qin Yuwan finally released him. As he regained his freedom, Summer Jiang'an quickly took deep breaths of air, his heart racing rapidly. Summer Jiang'an, pull yourself together, this is just a dream. Summer Jiang'an, you should be the one in control in this dream, the power is in your hands. Soon, Summer Jiang'an regained his composure. He gave a wicked smile, looking like a little rogue, and teasingly said, "Beautiful lady, what type of man do you like? Do you prefer the gentle and refined type, or the dominant and powerful one? Don't worry, since you appeared in my dream, Summer Jiang'an will be very gentle with you. Be good, don't be scared." With his handsome youthful face, Summer Jiang'an looked mischievously at her. At that moment, he resembled an emperor with 3,000 beauties in his harem, and Qin Yuwan, as if chosen by him, was about to be his concubine. Qin Yuwan's gaze deepened as she silently stared at him. "Beautiful lady, don't look at me with such passionate eyes. If you keep staring at me like that, I'll think you've fallen for me." Summer Jiang'an didn't know why, but whenever he saw this woman, he couldn't help but swallow his saliva. He wanted to devour her whole. At this moment, Summer Jiang'an seemed hungry, as if he hadn't eaten in ages. And this gorgeous beauty appeared before him like a mouth-watering delicacy. Within him, a desire was rising that he couldn't suppress. Had his lust already become uncontrollable in this dream? "Beautiful lady, please stop looking at me like that, it's tempting me to commit a crime." Qin Yuwan kept staring at him, making the desire within Summer Jiang'an grow even stronger. So hot. Summer Jiang'an felt an overwhelming heat throughout his body, and he couldn't take it any longer. I can't hold back anymore. "Beautiful lady, don't be scared, I'll be gentle." Summer Jiang'an shouted and suddenly pounced on Qin Yuwan, knocking her down. Like a naive little puppy, Summer Jiang'an started kissing her all over her body, wildly and unrestrainedly. It was clear that his movements were inexperienced, but they still made Qin Yuwan uncomfortable. "You little thing, don't forget, in bed, I like to be on top." Qin Yuwan forcefully flipped over and dominated Summer Jiang'an, taking back control. "Little lady. This is my dream, Summer Jiang'an, am the one in charge." Summer Jiang'an was annoyed by her words. With all his strength, he pinned Qin Yuwan down, regaining the upper hand. It was his turn to be on top, and her turn to be below. However, this position lasted only 3 seconds before Summer Jiang'an was once again defeated, and she successfully turned the tables. How could the powerful Qin Yuwan allow this man to rebel in front of her? She had to control everything at all times. She was the true master. Damn it. This is my dream, I am the master, you can't be so disrespectful in front of me. Just wait for me to pamper you. From a young age, Xia Jiang'an was a person who valued competition. Winning and losing were very important to him. In his studies, he was always first in his class. In sports competitions, he liked to challenge those tall and muscular athletes. Even when he was about to faint from exhaustion, he stubbornly refused to give up. Naturally, in bed, Xia Jiang'an was also the dominant one. He didn't like being passive. He wanted to control everything from the top. Xia Jiang'an gave it his all, and as Qin Yuwan kissed his neck passionately, he took advantage of her distraction and managed to flip her over. But once again, Qin Yuwan quickly regained the upper hand. Xia Jiang'an didn't give up. He was waiting for the next opportunity to strike again. In a luxurious room at the Xingshe Huating Hotel in bustling Shanghai, they engaged in a fierce battle of wills, unwilling to back down. In their struggle of you on top, me on top, the gears of their bodies slowly meshed together. The next morning, Xia Jiang'an gradually woke up. He instinctively tried to sit up, but the overwhelming sense of exhaustion hit him, as if he had just fought a battle. Especially his waist, it felt like it was about to collapse. This drink seems to have a problem. Beautiful lady, tonight you're mine, don't be afraid, I'll be gentle with you. Damn it. This little bastard. How dare he smash the cup and hurt my hand? Quick, catch him. Forget it, find a place to hide first. This floor is so slippery. My God, is this floor some kind of magic? It even moves. You little thing, stop playing with fire. Little one, how old are you? Beautiful lady, don't be scared, I'll be gentle with you. Little thing, don't forget, in bed, I like to be on top. Damn it. This is my dream. I just want to be on top. The memories of the previous night slowly flooded into his mind, like fragments coming together to form a complete picture. Xia Jiang'an's mind, which was still a little confused, suddenly became clear, as if a bucket of ice water was poured on his head. He looked down, and sure enough, his whole body was covered with kiss marks. There were even blue and red marks on the base of his thighs. This was the proof of a night of madness. Moving his eyes to the left, a pretty face with delicate features and perfect appearance appeared in front of him. At this moment, the woman was sleeping, her beautiful eyes were closed, and her red lips were slightly pursed. Even though she was asleep, her whole body still exuded a strong aura. In memory, the woman in the dream gradually overlapped with the sleeping woman in front of him. It seems that last night was not a dream. Instead, it was a very real thing. So, did he, Xia Jiang'an, really sleep with a woman? Or Xia Jiang'an just wanted to crawl into the cracks in the ground and die? There was too much information, and Xia Jiang'an felt that his head was about to explode. Even if he was indeed drugged, he did sleep with a woman. The more Xia Jiang'an thought about it, the more headache he had. Looking at the woman's stunning face, he couldn't help swallowing his saliva. This woman is so beautiful, she is really a tempting poison for men. Xia Jiang'an began to panic, and his eyes became flustered. What if this woman sues him? Will he have to go in and operate the sewing machine? No, he, Xia Jiang'an, is only 18 years old this year, and he is at the age of being as beautiful as a flower. He doesn't want to operate the sewing machine at all. Xia Jiang'an, don't panic. Xia Jiang'an tried to calm himself down, and his brain began to work quickly, thinking about how to make this woman not sue him. However, as he thought about it, Qin Yuwan's beautiful face was like a delicious meal, beautiful and delicious. Xia Jiang'an couldn't help but be attracted by the beautiful side face of the woman. Xia Jiang'an's eyes gradually became obsessed. Xia Jiang'an could guarantee that this woman's appearance and figure were definitely the best among all the women Xia Jiang'an had seen in the past 18 years, the best, no one could compare. Chapter 4, Beauty, I'm sorry. Xia Jiang'an stared blankly as Qin Yuwan turned over comfortably in bed. This small movement startled him. Xia Jiang'an, can you act more grown up? There's a time and place for everything, especially when you're in this kind of situation. He cursed himself inwardly, then carefully got off the bed. Trying not to make a sound, he felt guilty and didn't dare to wake the woman who was still asleep on the bed. God! This woman is an animal. Her movements were so rough. Who hurt whom, it's hard to say. Xia Jiang'an pursed his lips. He couldn't bear to look at himself.
His whole body was marked with bite marks. After getting out of bed, Xia Jiang'an started searching around for his clothes, but saw his shirt, which had been ripped to shreds, lying pitifully on the floor. Looking at his own body, it looked as if he had been tortured. He tiptoed around the room, but couldn't he find a single piece of men's clothing. Finally, he grabbed a neatly folded women's dress from the nightstand. Xia Jiang'an boldly sniffed the dress, and a faint, pleasant fragrance filled his nostrils. It smelled really good. Even though it was a woman's dress and the size didn't match his own, he didn't care at this point. Fortunately, Xia Jiang'an was slim, so the dress fit him, though just barely. The form-fitting dress was too short on the sleeves and skirt, making Xia Jiang'an look like a comical clown, which was rather amusing. He furrowed his brows and put on the shoes. Searching through his torn clothes, he soon found his phone and a red envelope. This red envelope had been given to him by his stepfather at his mother's wedding. He hadn't opened it yet. Xia Jiang'an opened the envelope and sucked in a sharp breath. His stepfather's family was really wealthy. This was a check for 88,888 yuan. To Xia Jiang'an, this amount of money was a huge sum. Reluctantly, he placed the red envelope on the nightstand and found a pen and paper. Message: Beauty, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have violated your body, nor should I have entered your door. Please don't hold it against me, just pretend this never happened. This money is my way of apologizing. I hope it's not too little. After writing, Xia Jiang'an placed the envelope on top of the letter, then quietly slipped out of the room. Standing at the door, Xia Jiang'an took a deep breath, as if he had made a firm decision. He turned around and, pulling out his phone, took a few pictures of the beauty lying on the bed. Such an exquisite woman, how could he not take a few pictures as mementos? It would be such a waste. After taking the photos, Xia Jiang'an was satisfied and walked out the door, ready to escape. That's right, Xia Jiang'an didn't want to step on the sewing machine, so he better leave quickly. Just as he reached the hotel entrance, his phone rang. It was his mother calling. Hello, Mom. Did you need something? Xiaowen, didn't you come home last night? I was really worried about your safety. His mother's voice was full of concern. Mom. I was drunk last night, so I stayed at a friend's house. Xia Jiang'an made up an excuse, not wanting to make her worry. Friend? Xiaowen, when did you start having friends? Mom, I'm such a great guy, it's not hard for me to make friends. Okay, my son is truly outstanding. His mother finally relaxed after hearing that he was okay. By the way, Xiaowen, you need to come back early today. Jishua's god-sister is coming to our house. She's an important person, so we can't treat her carelessly. Qin Jishua was his mother's new husband, and Xia Jiang'an's stepfather. As for his stepfather's god-sister, Xia Jiang'an had never met her, but he'd heard about her from others. They weren't blood relatives, but there was a story behind it. His stepfather's father and her father had been comrades in arms, experiencing life and death together on the battlefield, forming a bond that was unbreakable. Later, her father had encountered some difficulties in a battle, making it hard for him to have children. His stepfather's father, in order to continue the family line, arranged with his family to have his eldest son acknowledge him as his godfather, with the promise of looking after him in his old age. It was a stroke of fate, though there was no blood relationship, they both shared the same surname, Qin. The other family, deeply grateful, agreed. After all, in the society of that time, not having children was considered shameful. So, Qin Jishua grew up in that family as a godson. But after 8 or 9 years, because the family was wealthy and had great social standing, along with medical advancements that allowed them to have children, they finally had their own biological heir. Qin Jishua truly liked his god-sister, and being a kind-hearted person, he cared for her deeply. The two families had always been very close, and this bond extended to the next generation. But problems arose. The family had their own biological child, who was the only heir. No matter how much they liked this godson, his position was awkward. So, when Qin Jishua was in his teens, he expressed a wish to return to his biological family, but he also wanted to continue seeing his god-sister regularly. His father agreed, and everyone was happy about the arrangement. With Qin Jishua's support, his god-sister grew up day by day. Qin Jishua was very protective of his god-sister. The two were as close as siblings. To outsiders, they looked like a pair of real siblings. 20 years later, she became one of the most powerful figures in Shanghai. She wielded immense power, and also controlled a significant part of the city's economic influence. Summer Jiang'an thought about it and wondered if he should call her aunt, or little aunt. Even though there was no blood relation, it would still be polite to address her that way. Chapter 5. That woman appears. In the wealthy area of Magic City, the Qin family mansion. Xia Jiang'an walked into the Qin family quietly and stuck his head out to observe the situation inside the house. He didn't want his family to see his strange outfit. Second young master. What's wrong with you? He didn't see his mother, but he scared the housekeeper Ju. Xia. Housekeeper Ju, please speak softly. Xia Jiang'an walked into the house and didn't see Xia's mother. He turned his head and asked the housekeeper Ju, Uncle Ju, where is my mother? Madam went out to buy vegetables in person, because there is an important person coming to their house today. Uncle Ju replied. Hearing that Xia's mother was not at home, Xia Jiang'an's heart was relieved, and he relaxed and walked upstairs with a brisk pace. Looking at the lively Xia Jiang'an, Jubo showed a kind smile and sighed, young people still know how to have fun. Originally, Xia Jiang'an was in a good mood, but just as he reached the stairs on the first floor, a harsh male voice directly ruined his good mood. Hey! Our Master Xia is finally back. His private life is really chaotic. He didn't come back last night, and now he is wearing women's clothes to go home. Country people are country people, they have never seen the world, they are really country bumpkins who can't help themselves. At the entrance of the second floor, Qin Wood, who was wearing a retro British-style men's outfit, looked down at Xia Jiang'an on the first floor, his eyes showing ridicule and disgust. Qin Wood, the adopted son of his stepfather, is already 20 years old this year, 2 years older than Xia Jiang'an. Since Xia Jiang'an moved to this house, he has been sneering at himself all day long and tripping himself up in many places. However, the most disgusting thing is that in front of his stepfather, he pretended to be a caring big brother, caring for him, as if they were brothers with a good relationship. When thinking of these scenes, Xia Jiang'an wanted to vomit. Xia Jiang'an paused, and then walked directly to his room as if he didn't hear anything. For a young man like Qin Wooder, Xia Jiang'an was too lazy to pay attention to him. On the one hand, he didn't want to, and on the other hand, he was disdainful to talk nonsense with him. If something worse than cats and dogs barked at you, would you lower your status and call back? Hey! Bumpkin from the countryside, this young master is talking to you. Don't pretend you can't hear me, stop right there. Who allowed you to leave? I order you to stop right there. Seeing that Xia Jiang'an dared to ignore him, Qin Wooder's face was distorted with anger. Xia Jiang'an's disregard made Qin Wooder feel like he had slapped cotton in the face, and he had a belly full of anger but nowhere to vent. After returning to his room, he immediately locked the door, blocking out the barking of cats and dogs. Xia Jiang'an lay on his comfortable big bed, feeling relaxed all over. Who put drugs in the wine glass he drank yesterday? And locked himself in a room with those female hooligans? If he hadn't been quick-witted last night and injured the woman's hand with the red wine glass, I'm afraid he would have been in danger yesterday. It's only been half a year since he came to the Magic City. Which enemy did he make that has a deep hatred for him and wants him to be doomed? When he finds out who set him up, he will teach him a lesson. A fierce look flashed in Xia Jiang'an's eyes. And will the woman he slept with last night sue him? After all, he did break into the room himself. After staying in the room for nearly half an hour, a maid came to knock on the door and said that the food was ready and the legendary big man was coming, so he should go down to greet him. Walking downstairs, stepfather and mother Xia were already standing in the center of the main hall. Even Qin Wood, who usually took more than half an hour to eat, was standing there. Moreover, Qin Wood had even trimmed his eyebrows and put on some makeup, wearing exquisite and handsome clothes. This outfit looked like he was going to a wedding banquet today. Mother Xia was very nervous. Seeing Xia Jiang'an coming, she signaled him to stand beside her with her eyes. At this time, the entire Qin family seemed particularly solemn. Suddenly, a car horn sounded outside, followed by a firm and powerful footsteps. 2 teams of well-trained bodyguards with guns rushed into the Qin family and divided into 2 rows on the left and right. Bang, bang, bang. The neat and powerful footsteps hit the floor like drums, arousing echoes, heavy and majestic, making people feel awe, and their whole body tensed up involuntarily. The eyes of everyone around were attracted. Coming against the light, a graceful figure slowly appeared in front of them.
Qin Yuwan was wearing a green military uniform today, with a golden border around the collar and cuffs, which matched her tall figure and made her look heroic. Qin Yuwan's graceful body and beautiful face perfectly matched this military uniform. She was cold and ruthless, but exuded an unquestionable dominance. A leather belt was wrapped around her slender waist and green uniform, making her graceful figure even slimmer. A pair of long legs in black leather boots made her legs look even longer and her curves even more perfect. This was a woman as sacred as a goddess, revealing a domineering and obstinate temperament. She was like a soldier walking towards her in a battlefield filled with gunpowder, ruthless and iron-blooded. No matter where she was, her powerful aura could not be ignored. The moment Qin Yuwan appeared, all the people in the Qin family came to meet her, leaving Xia Jiang'an standing there in a daze. Qin Wuder was the first to speak. The moment he saw Qin Yuwan appear, his eyes were shining, and the primitive desire of a man for a woman flashed in his eyes. My dear, there is more to this chapter. Please click on the next page to continue reading. It is more exciting later. Aunt. Qin Wuder wanted to rush over as if he saw a treasure, and called out in a flattering voice. Seeing that Qin Wuder was about to approach her, Qin Yuwan frowned, showing her strong dislike without concealing it, and responded perfunctorily, "Yeah." Within a range of 2 meters, Qin Wuder could feel the strong disgust of the woman in front of him. Under the cold gaze, he quickly stopped, as if there was a bottomless abyss in front of him, and he did not dare to take another step forward. Even though this was her nephew whom she had known for 20 years, Qin Yuwan's attitude was still indifferent and looked at the other party as if he were a stranger. Qin Wuder did not care. After all, Aunt had always been such an indifferent person. He felt that compared to other men, his aunt was particularly kind and enthusiastic to him. He felt that he was a lucky man who could get the favor of the goddess. "Little sister, this is from Xia." Stepfather pointed at Mother Xia and introduced her. "Sister-in-law, hello." Qin Yuwan looked at Mother Xia coldly, and quickly moved her eyes away, her tone as distant and indifferent as usual. Qin Yuwan's eyes were very sharp, which was the sense of oppression emanating from the inside out of a high-ranking person. Just being looked at, Mother Xia was already very nervous. She stammered, "General." Before she finished her words, Qin Yuwan interrupted, "Just call me Miss Qin." According to common sense, Mother Xia should have called Qin Yuwan little sister, or her name, but Mother Xia was not brave enough. After all, in the entire Magic City, no one dared to call Qin Yuwan by her name in front of her. All call her Miss. Although Miss is just a common title, in a sense, it also represents Qin Yuwan's noble status. "Xiaoan, come here quickly, why are you still standing there? Come and say hello to your aunt." Seeing that Xia Jiang'an was like a fool, Xia's mother was afraid that the Qin family would say that she was not a good parent, so she quickly pulled Xia Jiang'an over. In the flash of lightning, it was as if a thunder was startled from the ground. The moment Xia Jiang'an saw Qin Yuwan appear, his whole brain exploded and shut down on the spot. Ward. This woman who should be called aunt verbally was actually the woman who took the medicine that night and went crazy all night. Even if the two had no relationship and no legal disputes, Xia Jiang'an felt that he was finished. Who could tell him why he was so unlucky? Chapter 6: Eat more meat and don't be picky. In the Qin family mansion, Xia Jiang'an and Qin Yuwan were only a few meters apart, but Xia Jiang'an felt as if they were in another world. "Little sister, this is Xiaoan." The stepfather pointed at Xia Jiang'an and introduced. "Xiaoan, this is your aunt." Qin Shuaji's kind smile formed a strong contrast with the cold Qin Yuwan. Qin Yuwan was tall, with a net height of 1.7 meters, not to mention that she was wearing a pair of high-heeled leather shoes. Xia Jiang'an, who was 1.8 meters tall, stood in front of her and looked inexplicably well-matched. Last night, Xia Jiang'an was under the effect of the medicine and his mind was confused, so he didn't realize Qin Yuwan's strong sense of oppression like an iceberg. But at this time, Xia Jiang'an's mind had recovered, and he was a little guilty. The strong aura coming towards him made people nervous. Xia Jiang'an raised his head and tried to smile. "Hello, aunt." Xia Jiang'an was in a state of confusion, his heart was already turbulent, but he still looked calm on his face, he couldn't let others see his abnormality. What happened between him and his aunt must not be known to others. After all their hardships, his mother finally found her home. Xia Jiang'an would never allow his mother to lose her happiness because of his ridiculous behavior. Following their voice, Qin Yuwan's beautiful eyes looked at the short-haired boy in front of her.
Today, his clothes were very different from last night. He wore a woolen sweater on the upper body and jeans on the lower body. It was a very youthful outfit. Coupled with his young and beautiful face, he looked very cute and simple. Qin Yuwan quietly lifted the broken hair in front of her eyes, and in a place where others couldn't see, she raised a faint smile. "Hello, little nephew." Her voice was crisp and pleasant, as clear and beautiful as running water, and people listened to it like a spring breeze blowing across the fields, intoxicated. Seeing that Qin Yuwan didn't seem to know him, Xia Jiang'an's heart finally fell. After all, a person of noble status like her should pay more attention to her reputation. Qin Yuwan's eyes kept looking at Xia Jiang'an intentionally or unintentionally, and she noticed all the subtle changes on the little guy's face. Qin Yuwan is knowledgeable and has a pair of beautiful eyes that can see through people's hearts. She can guess what the little guy is thinking at this moment, and nothing can be hidden from her eyes. Qin Yuwan felt that fate was really wonderful. The man who took her virginity turned out to be the one she should call her nephew verbally. At the Qin family lunch, because of the rule of not talking while eating and not talking while sleeping, the living room was very silent. Xia Jiang'an was worried and was obviously absent-minded when eating. He didn't eat many bites of the dishes and just ate the white rice in front of him. Suddenly, a pair of chopsticks appeared in Xia Jiang'an's bowl, and a chopstick of braised pork was put in. A serious voice sounded above his head, "Eat more meat, you've become skinny." The little guy is indeed too thin, and his bones are very uncomfortable. She felt uncomfortable when she touched them last night. Xia Jiang'an looked at the piece of meat in the bowl with a surprised look on his face, obviously flattered. This noble and cold woman actually picked up meat for him, and Xia Jiang'an seemed very restless. The most important thing is that he had an indescribable thing with this person. "Thank you." Facing Qin Yuwan's breathtaking eyes, Xia Jiang'an's heart was beating wildly, and he ate the piece of braised pork obediently. Looking at the small piece of fat on the braised pork, Xia Jiang'an frowned. He likes to eat meat, but not fat. Qin Yuwan's action not only scared Xia Jiang'an, but also the people at the table, with unbelievable faces. Qin Yuwan, who has a cold personality, actually picked up food for others. However, they didn't take it to heart. Qin Jishue and Xia's mother were happy. After all, Qin Yuwan had a good impression of Xia Jiang'an, which was a good thing. Qin Wuder was eating calmly, but he held the chopsticks very hard. He was very angry now. He looked at Xia Jiang'an with jealousy and resentment in his eyes, but he hid it well. Because he had something on his mind, Xia Jiang'an couldn't eat. He took a small bite of rice and wanted to leave. "Uncle Qin, Mom, I'm full. I'm leaving first." After saying that, Xia Jiang'an put down his chopsticks and wanted to leave. "Don't leave." Xia Jiang'an had just taken a few steps when Qin Yuwan's low voice came from behind him, causing Xia Jiang'an to stop abruptly. As soon as Qin Yuwan spoke, everyone at the table looked at her, with confusion in their eyes. Qin Yuwan had a serious face, not caring about other people's eyes, and was serious. Xia Jiang'an knew he couldn't hide, so he could only sigh, turned around obediently, and looked at Qin Yuwan with innocent eyes. "Aunt, do you have something to ask me?" "Don't be picky, you must eat all the food in the bowl." The slender fingers pushed a bowl of food over. Xia Jiang'an took a look, and immediately turned into a bitter face. "Help!" It turned out to be a bowl of greasy braised pork. He hated eating this the most. "Aunt, can I not eat this?" Xia Jiang'an looked pitiful, looking at Qin Yuwan with innocent and simple eyes. He really hated eating fat. "No. You must eat it all." Qin Yuwan's aura was very strong, and what she said could not be refused. The little thing didn't have 2 tails of meat on his body, and he dared not eat well. This bad habit must be changed. "Humph, this woman is so domineering." Xia Jiang'an complained in his heart, but in the end, he couldn't resist Qin Yuwan's powerful aura and sat at the table obediently. Looking at the bowl full of fat meat, Xia Jiang'an looked like he had no desire to live. Finally, Xia Jiang'an made up his mind and gobbled it up. He closed his eyes and put the fat meat in the bowl into his mouth piece by piece. He didn't dare to bite it, but there was still a lot of oil in his mouth. After more than 10 minutes, there was not much left in the bowl. Xia Jiang'an resisted the urge to vomit. "Auntie, I finished it all." "Okay." Qin Yuwan looked at the white bottom of the bowl with her beautiful eyes, and nodded slightly with satisfaction. Mother Xia's eyes intentionally or unintentionally swept back and forth between Qin Yuwan and Xia Jiang'an, especially when looking at Qin Yuwan, her eyes were shining, as if she had found a treasure. As a mother, she knew her son's temperament very well. Xia Jiang'an had always been very naughty since he was a child, especially when eating. He was particularly dishonest, which made Mother Xia very upset. But Mother Xia was gentle and kind by nature, and she couldn't control the naughty Xia Jiang'an at all. But just now, Xia Jiang'an obeyed Qin Yuwan's words, which gave Xia's mother a glimmer of hope. Xia's mother had already thought of a way. Xia Jiang'an returned to his bedroom and rushed to the bathroom. The strong feeling of nausea in his stomach was about to reach the peak, but he wanted to vomit, but nothing came out. At this time, Xia Jiang'an felt greasy all over and uncomfortable, so he had to take a shower. Xia Jiang'an wrapped his lower body with a bath towel and dried his hair with a towel while walking. He didn't notice that there was a person in front of him. Bang! Oh my! It hurts! When did a bamboo pole appear in my room? Xia Jiang'an touched his forehead, very distressed, without raising his head, and said something. Bamboo pole. Qin Yuwan, who was said to be a bamboo pole, had a black line on her face, and released a soul-stirring aura from head to toe. She lifted the chin of the little boy in front of her with her hand and forced him to look at her. Xia Jiang'an, can your bamboo pole sleep with you? Qin Yuwan's pretty face was close at hand, with delicate and moving features. Her warm breath sprayed on Xia Jiang'an's face, and the unique smell of this woman immediately surrounded him. Xia Jiang'an blinked his big eyes. The beauty was right in front of him, and Xia Jiang'an couldn't help swallowing his saliva. Qin Yuwan's eagle-like eyes kept looking at Xia Jiang'an. His subtle expressions and the way he swallowed his saliva were all seen by Qin Yuwan. Facial control, like beautiful women? Her little nephew was more interesting than she thought. Xia Jiang'an finally reacted at this time. He was now wrapped in only a bath towel. Xia Jiang'an widened his eyes and exclaimed, Aunt? How did you appear in my room? Xia Jiang'an remembered that he had locked the door. Chapter 7 Be My Man. The two eyes looked at each other, because Xia Jiang'an was only wrapped in a bath towel at this time. The woman looked up, and the boy's figure was exposed in her eyes without any concealment. I didn't expect that this little guy looked so thin and had a good figure. Qin Yuwan's beautiful eyes darkened and she swallowed her saliva. She lifted her hair and smiled evilly. Xia Jiang'an, you have entered my door, can't I enter your door? Qin Yuwan's face was as cold as an iceberg, but the words she said were so improper, and her tone was arrogant and domineering. Xia Jiang'an looked unbelievable, and his handsome face seemed to say, Aunt, don't you want your iceberg beauty image? Xia Jiang'an's ears and face were red at this time, and he stammered, Aunt, what do you mean by this sentence? I don't understand. Humph. He is still a pure little boy. Xia Jiang'an, do you really not understand? When you and I did that last night, you were so good. Qin Yuwan lifted Xia Jiang'an's chin, exerted a little force, and approached him domineeringly. The distance between the two people actually became very close, and the noses of the two faces even touched each other. The oncoming mature female breath, infinitely magnified pretty face, Xia Jiang'an, who had never been so close to a woman, had a blank mind and a pounding heart. Xia Jiang'an knew that he could not pretend anymore, and he had to deal with the problem when it was time. He mustered up his courage and looked like he was going to give it his all. Auntie, I know I was wrong last night, but you also enjoyed my young body, and I have already compensated you. What else do you want from me? Xia Jiang'an's matter-of-fact attitude made Qin Yuwan's face darken, her beautiful eyes darkened, and she was angry. This little guy actually dared to bring up the red envelope. When she thought of this, Qin Yuwan's chest would be filled with anger. Did this little guy think she was a prostitute who sold her body? Did he think he could be free from responsibility just because he had sex with her once and sent a red envelope? This was simply trampling on her dignity and could not be easily forgiven. I want you to be my man, and I won't bother with you about this. Qin Yuwan's overbearing and restrained voice reached Xia Jiang'an's ears, like the devil of hell asking for his life. I refuse. As soon as Qin Yuwan finished speaking, Xia Jiang'an's firm voice sounded. The little guy didn't even think about it and immediately refused, which made Qin Yuwan frown. Her self-esteem made her feel very unhappy. There were actually people who dared to disobey her orders in person and treated her words as if they didn't exist. Xia Jiang'an, this is my order. You are not qualified to refuse. You came to provoke me yourself, you want to run. It's not that easy. Hearing Qin Yuwan's overbearing tone, Xia Jiang'an's face flushed. I should call you aunt, even if we don't have any legal relationship, it's not allowed verbally. Qin Yuwan smiled disdainfully. She was extremely beautiful. She was like a general walking on the battlefield, domineering. I don't care what others think of me. The little guy is the only one who can arouse her primitive desire. No matter what, she will not let go. Xia Jiang'an still wanted to struggle, and said firmly, but I care. Even if he didn't care, for the sake of his mother, he would never allow himself to be entangled with Qin Yuwan, even if the two did not have a real relationship. So far, no one has dared to gossip about me, Qin Yuwan, behind my back. Her tone was overbearing and arrogant, and she didn't care about anything in the world at all. Indeed, Qin Yuwan has such an invincible capital and confidence. After hearing Qin Yuwan's overbearing and arrogant words, Xia Jiang'an finally realized that he had provoked a crazy woman in a daze. Xia Jiang'an was very unwilling and even started to make fun of himself. Aunt, why did you choose me? I am still very young, skinny, and my personality is not very good. For someone like you who is in a high position, any man will come to you as long as you want. So, why do you have to pester him? Xia Jiang'an sighed helplessly. In fact, if she was not his aunt, Xia Jiang'an would definitely be willing to do it with her fairy-like appearance. Xia Jiang'an, I just like your young body, and your size is also suitable. Qin Yuwan is knowledgeable and thick-skinned. What she said made Xia Jiang'an blush and heartbeat. Qin Yuwan raised her lips slightly, smiling evilly. Xia Jiang'an, you have no right to refuse. Qin Yuwan walked forward fiercely, forced him to the corner, and stretched out her hands to hold Xia Jiang'an in her arms. The little guy had just finished taking a bath, and there was still a pleasant smell of shower gel on his body. I don't know what brand of shower gel the little guy used, but it smelled good. Her nose has always been very picky about fragrance, and at this moment, she actually felt that it smelled a bit good. Xia Jiang'an, I also like the smell of you. Qin Yuwan buried her head in his neck, and when she spoke, her warm breath sprayed on his body. Xia Jiang'an felt that the body temperature of the woman in front of him rose very quickly, and a wave of heat came towards him, almost burning him up. Xia Jiang'an widened his eyes, with disbelief in his eyes. How could this be an iceberg beauty? This is clearly a female hooligan. Fuck. What are you going to do to me? Xia Jiang'an blushed and his heart was beating, and his heart was about to jump out of his throat. In contrast to Xia Jiang'an's blushing face, Qin Yuwan was calm, with a hint of doting smile in her eyes. Qin Yuwan raised her eyebrows and asked teasingly, are you comfortable? No. Xia Jiang'an would never admit it, even if he had a hard time controlling his body. But I am really comfortable. Qin Yuwan covered her mouth and chuckled, indescribably charming and sexy. Xia Jiang'an pleaded in a pleading tone, Auntie, please let me go. Qin Yuwan's beautiful eyes kept looking at him, and Xia Jiang'an dared not move just by the powerful aura. Then, she said in an irresistible and charming voice, call me Qin Yuwan, this name, I want you to remember it in your heart for the rest of your life. Chapter 8-2 Domineering, Be My Man. Xia Jiang'an suddenly had an indescribable feeling in his heart. Qin Yuwan. Don't do this, let me go. Xia Jiang'an woke up, he almost fell, fortunately he woke up in time. But Qin Yuwan didn't intend to let him go. There was really no other way, Xia Jiang'an had to push her body with his hands. Qin Yuwan had received professional training and was very strong, which was not something Xia Jiang'an's small body could push. Xia Jiang'an was very angry. If a stick appeared in front of him at this time, he would definitely hit Qin Yuwan's dishonest hand without hesitation. However, ideals are beautiful, and reality is cruel. The current situation is that Xia Jiang'an is afraid of alarming other people at home, so he can lower his voice and speak softly. Qin Yuwan, don't do this. Please, okay. Xia Jiang'an's tone was pleading. Xia Jiang'an, you want me to let you go? What if I don't agree? Qin Yuwan smiled evilly, and with her beautiful face, Qin Yuwan was as charming as a demon. Qin Yuwan raised her eyebrows, how do you feel now? Xia Jiang'an's body was stiff, and he was about to be unable to bear it. Don't do this, stop it. Xia Jiang'an's handsome face was red as blood. No one can refuse what I say. Qin Yuwan freed one hand to grab Xia Jiang'an's hands, raised them above her head, and pressed them hard against the wall. Both hands were pressed down, Xia Jiang'an was pressed against the wall, and he couldn't get away at all, just like a lamb to be slaughtered, letting people do whatever they want. Unable to get away, Xia Jiang'an raised his head, bit his lower lip aggrievedly, and stared at Qin Yuwan fiercely. At this time, Xia Jiang'an didn't care about being afraid of Qin Yuwan's powerful aura. The little guy bit his lower lip in grievance, his big eyes sparkling. Qin Yuwan thought his eyes were very beautiful, especially like the eyes of a little rabbit. Qin Yuwan was always very good to her own people. Her beautiful eyes sank, and she didn't give Xia Jiang'an a chance to react, and the woman's kiss fell hard. Xia Jiang'an couldn't believe it. His big eyes were full of surprise and anger, and he struggled hard with both hands, but the difference in strength between him and Qin Yuwan was too big, and no matter how hard he tried, it was useless. Xia Jiang'an was still struggling hard, trying to find a chance to break free from the woman's bondage, but as beautiful as fantasy, he couldn't do it at all. Qin Yuwan's kiss was too overbearing, and Xia Jiang'an had no chance to break free. He helplessly found that he could only cooperate with her movements. Ding! A phone call came in. Xia Jiang'an struggled hard. Qin Yuwan, let me go quickly, someone is calling me. Who called you? Qin Yuwan's interest was interrupted, and a trace of dissatisfaction appeared in her cold eyes. Qin Yuwan let him go, and Xia Jiang'an finally regained his freedom. He took a deep breath and picked up the phone. It's my mother calling me. Your mother? So what? Qin Yuwan raised her eyebrows and leaned over to continue kissing Xia Jiang'an's delicious lips. His lips were kissed again. Xia Jiang'an struggled hard, and his mother's ringing sound kept coming to his ears. Xia Jiang'an got angry and bit Qin Yuwan's lips fiercely. Suddenly, the smell of blood filled his mouth. Qin Yuwan had to let go of Xia Jiang'an because of the pain. She frowned, and a pair of beautiful eyes, a blazing fire, the whole person's aura was terrifying to the extreme. Xia Jiang'an felt the biting coldness released by the woman in front of him, and his body shivered involuntarily. Xia Jiang'an tried hard to ignore the cold gaze. His big eyes looked particularly clear and innocent. He looked at Qin Yuwan and said in a pleading tone, Qin Yuwan, let me go first. I want to know what my mother wants to see me for. What if his mother is looking for him for something urgent? Qin Yuwan looked at him with cold eyes, staring at this boy who looked like a cute little rabbit. He wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth carelessly with his slender and beautiful hands, raised his mouth and smiled, but his tone was cold and cruel. I just won't let you go. If you want to answer the phone, go ahead. Hearing the cold and cruel tone in Qin Yuwan's tone, Xia Jiang'an was a little angry and looked up at her. The two of them were so close, how could he answer the phone? What if this woman came up with some bad ideas and made a noise while he was talking to his mother? Then his mother would definitely be suspicious. Didn't this woman worry that what happened between them would be known by others? Qin Yuwan stared at Xia Jiang'an's panicked face and saw through him instantly. She knew exactly what he was thinking. Do you want to answer the phone? Qin Yuwan leaned close to Xia Jiang'an's ear, and her warm breath hit Xia Jiang'an's ear. What do you mean? Ignoring the strong discomfort Qin Yuwan brought to his body, Xia Jiang'an didn't understand what Qin Yuwan wanted to express for a while. If you don't answer it, I can help you. Qin Yuwan waved her hand, and Xia Jiang'an's phone fell into her hand. The slender white hand lightly tapped the screen of the phone, and the call was connected. Hello, Xiaoan, why did you take so long to answer your mother's call? The confused voice of Xia's mother came from the other end of the phone. What on earth is she going to do? In this case, is she answering this call to kill him? Seeing this, Xia Jiang'an's heart suddenly hung high in the air, and he was really afraid that Qin Yuwan would make a sound without paying attention. At this time, Xia Jiang'an saw Qin Yuwan's lips slightly open, as if she was about to speak. What is she doing? Is she really going to kill him? What a devilish woman. Hey, Mom, nothing, I just accidentally turned my phone to silent mode. Xia Jiang'an was very nervous and quickly found an excuse to get away with it. Mom, if you don't have anything to talk to me, I'll hang up first. Because he was afraid that Qin Yuwan would make a sound accidentally, Xia Jiang'an wanted to snatch the phone back from her. However, this woman was very cunning. She raised her hand slightly, and Xia Jiang'an couldn't get the phone. Xia Jiang'an was focused on the phone, and didn't care so much, and jumped up to snatch it back. Unexpectedly, his feet suddenly slipped and he almost fell flat on his face. Fortunately, he quickly hugged Qin Yuwan at the critical moment and finally escaped danger. Xia Jiang'an was so anxious to hug her that he didn't think of anything else, but Qin Yuwan could feel that Xia Jiang'an's body was tightly pressed against her. Qin Yuwan was not wearing much, and Xia Jiang'an's warm body was pressed against her. Their warm touch stimulated her nerves all the time. In her mind, she couldn't help but think of the beauty of him under her last night. When she thought of this, she felt that her blood was boiling. Qin Yuwan hung up the phone, but still held the phone in her hand. Xia Jiang'an, I think you are very good, I like you very much, just be my man. Qin Yuwan's tone was overbearing and could not be refused. I don't want it. Xia Jiang'an refused directly. You don't want it. Xia Jiang'an, what will happen if I tell your mother about our affairs now? Qin Yuwan smiled evilly. With a flick of his finger, he was about to call Xia's mother. Devil! Xia Jiang'an had no time to think when he saw Xia's mother's phone was about to be connected. Xia Jiang'an nodded repeatedly. Qin Yuwan, I agree. I beg you, don't tell my mother about this. Seeing that the little guy had compromised, Qin Yuwan smiled lightly, but she didn't intend to let this little thing go easily, and asked with a smile, what do you agree to? Xia Jiang'an's face was flushed, but he couldn't care about being shy now. He hurriedly said before Qin Yuwan was about to speak, I agree to be your Qin Yuwan's man. Xia Jiang'an, your choice is very wise. Qin Yuwan's tone was as domineering as ever. After getting the answer she wanted, Qin Yuwan lowered her head and smiled, and returned the phone to Xia Jiang'an. Chapter 9, Boneless Hugging. After seeing Qin Yuwan indeed walked into the bathroom, Xia Jiang'an took a deep breath and called his mother again. Mom, I'm sorry, I accidentally hung up the phone just now. Xia Jiang'an's eyes blinked, looking particularly innocent and clear. When Xia's mother received her son's call again, she was confused and felt that her son was a little strange. Xiaowen, are you hiding something from me? Xia Jiang'an wiped his hair with a towel, as if nothing had happened. Oh, Mom, what can I hide from you? I just didn't answer your call in time because I was taking a shower in the bathroom just now. You were taking a shower just now? Xia's mother felt very strange. Why would you take a shower in broad daylight? Oh, I just took a shower. That, Mom, I have something to talk about first. I have to be busy drying my hair. I'll hang up first. After ending the conversation with Xia's mother, the smile on Xia Jiang'an's face disappeared immediately. Looking at the direction of the bathroom, his face was full of sorrow. Oh, what a headache. Why did Qin Yuwan take a shower in his room? This woman, doesn't she know the difference between men and women? Doesn't she know that she shouldn't enter a man's room? Hateful. Looking at the closed bathroom door, Xia Jiang'an flashed a sly smile in his eyes. The bathroom door is designed in a special way. If you lock the door from the outside, people inside can't open the door. Come up with a plan. Xia Jiang'an quietly locked the bathroom door like a thief who broke into their house. HMPH, this stinky woman. You are so fierce to him, so arrogant, wait and see how I deal with you. Stinky woman, you'd better stay in the bathroom until the end of time. You actually want me to be your man? Bar. You think it's beautiful. I am young and handsome now, and everyone loves me. Who wants to be your man? Dream on. HMPH, I just want to lock you up. Don't let you appear in front of me. Who told you to threaten me? And you took advantage of me. I'm a tiger that's not easy to mess with. If I don't show my power, do you think I'm a sick cat? Xia Jiang'an was completely angry. He had never met anyone who dared to bully him like this since he was a child. Xia Jiang'an dried his hair and was about to change his clothes. Suddenly, his eyes saw the air conditioner in the room. He thought of another good idea to make this woman suffer a little. That was it. Xia Jiang'an threw the towel in his hand on the ground and walked to the bedside table. Qin Yuwan, don't blame me when you turn around. You deserve this suffering. Xia Jiang'an held the air conditioner remote control in his hand with a smirk on his face. The smirk on his face was very inconsistent with his handsome face. Xia Jiang'an exuded a ruffian spirit. Qin Yuwan, a gentleman's revenge is never too late. If you are unkind to me, don't blame me for being unjust to you. The white fingers pressed a few times on the air conditioner remote control and adjusted the air conditioner to the lowest 16 degrees. After doing this, Xia Jiang'an felt very happy. When he thought that Qin Yuwan would have a runny nose due to the cold, Xia Jiang'an felt very happy. Don't ask me what my ideal is, I don't know. It's good to waste time. Say sorry to tomorrow, because I still want to waste tomorrow. When he thought that this stinky woman was going to suffer, Xia Jiang'an felt very good and even hummed a song on the internet.
After a few minutes, the temperature in the room dropped completely. Xia Jiang'an smiled and said, "Oh, it's so cold." After that, Xia Jiang'an jumped into his warm bed. 10 minutes after Qin Yuwan walked into the bathroom, she was about to walk out of the bathroom after taking a shower. She found something wrong. The bathroom door couldn't be opened. Qin Yuwan pushed the bathroom door hard and soon encountered a resistance, which made her eyebrows frown unhappily. "Very good, this little thing actually locked the door." Qin Yuwan pulled the corner of her mouth, her beautiful eyes were cold, and there was no change on her face, with an indifferent look. Not long after, Qin Yuwan felt that the temperature in the bathroom was dropping. If it were someone else, they would have shivered with cold. However, Qin Yuwan looked normal, and she didn't even blink, let alone shivering with cold. When Qin Yuwan was still a special female soldier, she had lived in northeast China for a month with temperatures of minus dozens of degrees, and she was intact. So the temperature in the bathroom was a piece of cake for her, and she didn't take it seriously. But this little guy was bolder than she thought. Qin Yuwan raised the corner of her mouth and showed a wicked smile. "Do kittens still have tempers?" Qin Yuwan looked at the bathroom door lock, pulled the corner of her mouth, and looked down on it. The little guy thought that this could lock her up. It was so naive. Suddenly, Qin Yuwan raised her long legs and kicked the door hard. Bang! Suddenly there was a loud noise. The sturdy door opened with a bang, and Qin Yuwan walked out with a pair of long legs. That beautiful and charming face was unusually cold, and the powerful aura around her was all released. I stand on the grassland and look at Beijing, and I can see the boundless peace and tranquility of the country. Hearing the loud noise, Xia Jiang'an quickly turned his head to look, but he didn't expect to see Qin Yuwan's extremely powerful and domineering scene of breaking out of the door. "Is this still a human?" Xia Jiang'an's singing stopped abruptly, and his body was completely stiff. At this moment, time seemed to stop. Qin Yuwan walked towards Xia Jiang'an step by step, releasing a terrifying breath all over her body. In the cold temperature, Xia Jiang'an felt that the blood in his body had solidified. Looking blankly at Qin Yuwan, who seemed to want to eat him, Xia Jiang'an knew that he was finished. Who can come to save him? In this situation, Xia Jiang'an knew that he could only find a way to escape by himself. Xia Jiang'an was thinking of a solution quickly in his mind, but when Qin Yuwan pulled the corner of her mouth, revealing the danger, his brain crashed. "Hurry up and hold the thigh." Xia Jiang'an flew over, and soon, Xia Jiang'an used his arms to tightly wrap around Qin Yuwan's thigh. Looking down, Qin Yuwan frowned slightly, and her eyes stayed on the little guy holding her thigh. Seeing Qin Yuwan looking at him with a terrifying look, Xia Jiang'an was very scared and didn't dare to look into her eyes at all, fearing that she would shake him off, so Xia Jiang'an increased the strength of holding her thigh. "Qin Yuwan, I'm sorry, I won't dare to do this again in the future." Xia Jiang'an quickly begged for mercy, with a pair of big eyes showing the word innocent, looking at Qin Yuwan pitifully. This innocent little look is especially like a little puppy trying to please its owner. In simple terms, he looked spineless. "Qin Yuwan, I'm sorry, I really shouldn't have locked you in the bathroom, I'm really sorry." "Xiaoan knows he was wrong, can you please show some mercy and let me go?" Xia Jiang'an hugged Qin Yuwan's thigh and rubbed it, looking like he was acting like a spoiled child. As the saying goes, a real man can bend and stretch. Xia Jiang'an was looking for excuses for his shameless behavior. Qin Yuwan said nothing, looking at Xia Jiang'an expressionlessly, and found that the little guy was actually sitting on the cold floor at this time, and her iceberg-like eyebrows finally loosened. In a low voice with a majestic majesty, she said, "Stand up first, it's not decent to sit on the ground and talk." The little guy sat on the cold ground for too long, what if he caught a cold? She would feel bad. In the room, Qin Yuwan stood very straight, indifferent and proud. If there was no little boy sitting under her feet, taking a picture with a mobile phone, this would be a domineering picture of a beautiful woman. "Get up quickly." Qin Yuwan saw that the little guy sitting under her feet did not move, and said coldly, "I won't get up, I just won't get up, I'm afraid you will hit me." Xia Jiang'an had made up his mind at this time. Since he wanted to pretend to be a coward, he would go all the way to the end. After saying that, Xia Jiang'an increased the strength of his two hands and refused to let go. Qin Yuwan saw the little guy's stubborn look, and her eyes revealed a hint of helplessness. Then, she bent down. "R. Qin Yuwan, what do you want to do to me?" Chapter 10. This woman is too perverted. Xia Jiang'an exclaimed, and when he reacted, he was already in Qin Yuan's arms. It was not clear whether Qin Yuwan did it on purpose. One of her hands was placed on Xia Jiang'an's buttocks. It was a very strange feeling, which made Xia Jiang'an blush. Xia Jiang'an raised his head slightly and looked at Qin Yuwan. Her beautiful face was as cold as ever. Xia Jiang'an could not guess whether she was angry or not. Without understanding the situation, Xia Jiang'an did not dare to act rashly. He did not dare to struggle and leaned obediently in Qin Yuwan's arms. Being held in Qin Yuwan's arms, with such close contact, Xia Jiang'an could feel the surging waves on her chest. Qin Yuwan pulled Xia Jiang'an to the big bed. You sit on the bed. Oh. Although Xia Jiang'an was not quite sure what Qin Yuwan wanted to do, he still chose to do it wisely. Xia Jiang'an sat on the bed obediently, with a pair of innocent and clear eyes, looking at Qin Yuwan. Xia Jiang'an, you should be a little bit better, maybe I will forgive you. So, Xia Jiang'an sat on the bed obediently. Qin Yuwan got up, first picked up the air conditioner remote control to turn up the temperature, then pulled a chair and sat beside Xia Jiang'an's bed. Qin Yuwan. Qin Yuwan stared at Xia Jiang'an directly, without any concealment, and Xia Jiang'an was a little nervous. Turn over. An imperative tone. After looking for a long time, Qin Yuwan finally spoke with her sapphire-like beautiful eyes and beautiful red lips slightly opened. Her tone was full of innate majesty. Hearing this majestic voice, Xia Jiang'an's little heart skipped a beat, and he asked weakly, why? Xia Jiang'an was confused. Why did he let me lie down for no reason? What was he going to do? Just turn over if I tell you to, don't ask me why. Qin Yuwan is very independent, like a very strict parent. And Xia Jiang'an is a naughty student. I don't want to. Xia Jiang'an shook his head and refused. Turning over in front of a woman is so shameful. I'll say it again, turn over. Qin Yuwan emphasized her tone, and her patience was running out at this time. I don't want to. Xia Jiang'an still insisted. Even though her tone was only slightly heavier, Xia Jiang'an felt like a storm was about to come, indescribably depressed and cold. The little guy was stubborn and playful, she didn't care, but he didn't care about his body at all, and Qin Yuwan had to take care of this. She had to teach him a lesson, so that he wouldn't dare to sit on the cold floor casually in the future. Under Qin Yuwan's cold eyes, Xia Jiang'an finally couldn't resist the strong sense of oppression and began to turn over reluctantly. How shameful! Xia Jiang'an's ears were all red, as if they were on fire. Xia Jiang'an closed his eyes tightly, not daring to open them at all. Par. With a light sound, the jade hand fell directly on Xia Jiang'an's buttocks. The force was not strong, but because it was his buttocks that were spanked, Xia Jiang'an's body could not help but tremble. Qin Yuwan actually wanted to hit him here? Do you know why I want to punish you? Seeing the little guy enduring the pain, Qin Yuwan felt a little reluctant. I know, I shouldn't have locked my aunt in the bathroom, and I shouldn't have deliberately lowered the temperature to make my aunt uncomfortable. Xia Jiang'an lowered his head and answered honestly, looking a little aggrieved. Par. Another slap fell, and Xia Jiang'an couldn't help but tremble. Humph, this woman is so perverted. You are wrong. Qin Yuwan's cold voice sounded again as soon as the slap fell on the buttocks. R. Xia Jiang'an was very confused. If it wasn't this reason, what else could it be? Suddenly, Xia Jiang'an saw Qin Yuwan's lips, where the skin was slightly broken. Yes, that's why. Xia Jiang'an figured it out, but he felt that he had done nothing wrong in this matter. It was obviously Qin Yuwan who deliberately teased him, and this was the retribution she deserved. Although he thought so in his heart, Xia Jiang'an didn't dare to say it in front of Qin Yuwan. After all, if he said it, who knows what this woman would do? Qin Yuwan, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have bitten your lips. In the end, Xia Jiang'an was still afraid of authority and chose to apologize. You're wrong again. Qin Yuwan's harsh words came again, and then, with a light sound of snap, Xia Jiang'an was beaten again. But Qin Yuwan still looked cold and serious. Xia Jiang'an felt that this woman was clearly looking for trouble and deliberately bullying him. This was wrong, and that was wrong too. This woman is a psychopath. Think about it again. Qin Yuwan's voice was very pleasant, but when Xia Jiang'an heard it, he felt that the voice was too unpleasant. I don't want to. Xia Jiang'an was also a person with a temper. He put on a face and refused to cooperate. I just don't like to use my brain. Soon, Qin Yuan's pretty face turned cold, and her eyes were like a sharp sword, staring straight at Xia Jiang'an. The temperature in the room dropped instantly, and Xia Jiang'an shrank in fear. However, Xia Jiang'an felt that he couldn't be so spineless. Summoning up his courage, Xia Jiang'an stood up and looked at Qin Yuan stubbornly. In his clear big eyes, there was a lot of stubbornness and unwillingness to accept. Anyway, he had pretended to be a coward just now, but it was useless. This perverted woman still wanted to beat him. Xia Jiang'an, who gave you the courage? Qin Yuan stretched out her jade hand, and lifted Xia Jiang'an's chin with her slender white fingers. There seemed to be a huge storm in her deep voice, which made people tremble with fear. No one had ever dared to disobey her orders in front of her. Xia Jiang'an was very upset when Qin Yuan lifted his chin. From childhood to adulthood, he, Xia Jiang'an, had never been bullied like this. Turn anger into action. Par. Xia Jiang'an pushed Qin Yuan's hand away and said viciously, "This is the courage that I, Xia Jiang'an, gave myself. I, Xia Jiang'an, just ate a leopard's courage. I just became braver. What does this have to do with you?" Xia Jiang'an was completely furious, and he couldn't care so much, and started to curse. What? Are you upset? Do you want to hit me? Come on, let's have a fight. Don't think I'm afraid of you just because you've practiced boxing. Come on. I'm not afraid of you. Xia Jiang'an was like crazy at this time, his eyes were red, he stood up from the bed suddenly, and waved his fist like a bean paste bun at Qin Yuan. Chapter 11. Why should this young master listen to you? Xia Jiang'an was like a mad tiger, winking at Qin Yuan like an experienced gangster. Qin Yuan stood up. Even though Xia Jiang'an was taller than her aura was more than 2 meters. As soon as Qin Yuan stood up, the momentum between the two of them was clear at a glance. Qin Yuan's eyes were fixed on the little puppy with its hair standing up. Maybe because he was very nervous and angry, Xia Jiang'an's mouth was wide open, and his tall nose was tilted forward, looking like a cute little pig. Qin Yuan had a little idea in her mind. What would it feel like if she pinched his little pig nose with her hands? Her intuition told her that it must be very soft. Anyway, the touch would not be too bad. Thinking of this, Qin Yuan took a few steps forward and pulled with her hands, domineering and powerful. Before Xia Jiang'an could react, he was already in Qin Yuan's arms. Qin Yuan's move completely stimulated Xia Jiang'an. He struggled hard. Okay, are you going to do it? Come on, hit me. Xia Jiang'an thought that Qin Yuan hugged him like this in order to beat him. So Xia Jiang'an fought hard, not showing weakness, and waved his fist. HMPH. Are you scared? This young master tells you that I used to learn Taekwondo, and I am very capable. Women like you, I can knock one away with one punch. Xia Jiang'an began to boast while punching wildly, trying to outdo this radiant woman in aura. After hearing the little guy's rude words, Qin Yuan couldn't help but pull the corner of her mouth and reveal a light smile on her face like an iceberg beauty. Knock her away with one punch. In her eyes, the way Xia Jiang'an waved his fist was like a child playing house, without any killing power. Qin Yuan suddenly thought, how could this man she liked be so cute? Little naughty. Qin Yuan grabbed Xia Jiang'an's hand that was making trouble with one hand, and just slightly increased the strength of her hand. Xia Jiang'an was unable to break free, and both hands were easily controlled by her one hand. The slender white fingers of the free hand were slightly cold, pinching Xia Jiang'an's nose. Well, this touch is good, not bad. As expected, the little guy's nose did not disappoint her. The touch was very good, soft to the touch, and made people feel a little nostalgic. I scratched the little guy's nose bridge, but I didn't expect it to be quite high, and I felt that I could slide on it. Qin Yuan, what are you doing? Can you give me a quick death and stop torturing me like this? Xia Jiang'an was angry again. The woman in front of him who was scratching his nose with her hand looked like she was enjoying it. What exactly does this woman mean? Is she treating him as a pet? How hateful. This woman actually treated him as a pet. Qin Yuan looked like a master teasing his beloved pet. Humph, he, Xia Jiang'an, is a person, not a pet. Humph. Don't say it, Xia Jiang'an's angry look really looks like a super cute little suckling pig. Xia Jiang'an, listen to me obediently in the future, understand? Another domineering and commanding tone. Qin Yuan looked at Xia Jiang'an with satisfaction, and finally released the jade fingers that were pinching Xia Jiang'an's nose. Xia Jiang'an finally escaped from the arms of this woman. Hearing Qin Yuwan's words, Xia Jiang'an really wanted to scold her. Shameless. You are so domineering and arrogant. Why should this young master listen to you? This young master is a man who stands tall and proud. Why should I listen to the orders of a woman like you? This old woman is a pervert. Humph, perverted aunt. Of course, Xia Jiang'an only dared to curse in his heart. He didn't dare to say it in front of this domineering and narcissistic woman. He still wanted to live a long life. In the room, Qin Yuwan's mobile phone suddenly made a sound, and she looked at the message. Suddenly, Qin Yuwan's beautiful eyes flashed a trace of fierceness, just like a sharp sword, very sharp. The body released cold air, and the temperature in the room also dropped sharply. Xia Jiang'an, you have to remember what you said to me. Qin Yuwan put the phone back in her pocket and looked at Xia Jiang'an seriously. Before Xia Jiang'an could speak, Qin Yuwan retracted her eyes. She must have encountered a difficult situation, and she left quickly. HMPH. Seeing that Qin Yuwan had left, Xia Jiang'an instantly felt relieved and relaxed a lot. The strong aura of this woman just now made Xia Jiang'an feel as if he was in the rain. The atmosphere was oppressive and uncomfortable, and gloomy. Even though it was winter, Xia Jiang'an broke out in cold sweat. He wiped the sweat off his forehead with his hands and walked out the door in slippers. After looking at the door and the long corridor, he didn't see Qin Yuwan's graceful figure. Xia Jiang'an was completely relieved. It seemed that this woman had really left. HMPH, let me remember what I said. The reason I agreed just now was just a delaying tactic that this young master came up with. Xia Jiang'an leaned against the door, talking to himself in the air, with a cunning smile on his lips. His big eyes rolled in his eye sockets, looking like a cunning fox. Qin Yuwan was the person he was going to call his aunt verbally. How could he agree to be her man? Just now, he just said it in a hurry to perfunctory this domineering and narcissistic woman. He, Xia Jiang'an, is a person with a positive outlook and good character. In the next few days, Qin Yuwan did not appear in Xia Jiang'an's life, which made Xia Jiang'an very happy. When Xia Jiang'an watched the news broadcast at night, he learned that something happened on the border of Xia State that day, and Qin Yuwan, as a key figure, rushed to deal with it. On the TV screen, Qin Yuwan was wearing a military uniform, looking heroic. Xia Jiang'an was almost obsessed with it. This woman was excellent in every aspect. She met all the standards of Xia Jiang'an for goddesses. With his picky eyes, she was perfect. Her appearance and figure were actually the type that Xia Jiang'an liked very much. However, Xia Jiang'an already had someone he liked. He liked that girl, Liu Yuyan, and he had been secretly in love with her for 3 years. Just looking at her appearance, Qin Yuwan was indeed very perfect, without any flaws. But Qin Yuwan was the one he nominally called his aunt. Besides, she is 10 years older than me. Oh, and she seems to be a psychopath. After sighing for a while, Xia Jiang'an checked the time on his phone. It was already 4 o'clock in the afternoon. He still had work to do. After leaving the Qin family, Xia Jiang'an took a taxi, then picked up his phone and made a call. Hello, He Ting, are you almost there? Brother Xia, I'm already there. I'm waiting for you at the entrance of Xingshi Huating Hotel. There was a sunny and pleasant male voice on the other end of the phone. He Ting, Xia Jiang'an's good brother since childhood, the two were as close as brothers. Okay, I'll be there soon. After hanging up the phone, Xia Jiang'an's mouth curled up with a faint sneer. Dare to set a trap for Xia Jiang'an. As long as he finds out who plotted against him, he will make him pay the price he deserves. He, Xia Jiang'an, is not easy to mess with. If you mess with him, the end will be ugly. Xia Jiang'an's action this time was to find out who dared to put drugs in the wine he drank at his mother's wedding a few days ago. Chapter 12, Some Hot News. When Xia Jiang'an arrived at Xingshi Huating Hotel, he saw He Ting standing in front of the gate as soon as he got off the car. He Ting is from the south, 1.75 meters tall, looks pretty good, and is dressed in casual clothes, very sunny and clean. He Ting looks like an honest guy who would be shy when seeing a beautiful woman. But only Xia Jiang'an and his friends know that he is honest in appearance, but he is actually very stuffy. Brother Xia, why are you so late? I've been waiting for you for almost half an hour. He Ting complained as soon as he saw Xia Jiang'an. Sorry, there's a traffic jam on the road. Xia Jiang'an apologized. Okay, let's go. He Ting waved to Xia Jiang'an to follow.
Xia Jiang'an nodded and followed. Xingshi Huating Hotel, at the door of the security room. I'm sorry, we have a rule here in our hotel. Outsiders are not allowed to watch the hotel's surveillance. In the security room, a pretty security guard stopped the two of them and refused to let Xia Jiang'an in no matter what. Miss, we're just going to take a look and come out, okay? He Ting actually acted like a spoiled child. The beautiful security guard was speechless. I'm sorry, we can't make exceptions to the rules here. After saying that, He Ting smiled and said, Miss, don't be like this. Looking at He Ting's look, Xia Jiang'an behind him had a black line on his face, and he wanted to cut off his relationship with him immediately. It was really embarrassing to be friends with this guy. The two sides were deadlocked for a while, and the beautiful security guard followed the company's rules and refused to let them in anyway. He Ting, who was acting like a spoiled child, found that this beauty trick had no effect at all. He took a step back, his face changed, and he became a cold look, which was completely different from what he looked like just now. He Ting's style of doing things is like the face changing in Sichuan opera, changing his face faster than turning a book. He Ting sneered and said, Do you know who I am? Do you know the origin of this hotel? The beautiful security guard was startled by He Ting's face change and stood there speechless. Master He? Why are you here in our hotel? Hey, how do you do things? You actually stopped the master outside. Don't you want to do it anymore? Master, please come in. The hotel manager came and scolded the beautiful security guard severely, and then led He Ting and Xia Jiang'an to the room with a flattering face. HMPH. He Ting looked arrogant and proud when passing by the beautiful security guard. Seeing He Ting like this, Xia Jiang'an couldn't help rolling his eyes. He Ting was the most bizarre young master of a wealthy family among the people he knew. He. Xia Jiang'an showed a kind smile to the scared beautiful security guard. Turn this surveillance to the scene of the Qin family's wedding 3 days ago, at about 7:30. Xia Jiang'an said to the staff. If you want to find out who drugged her, the simplest and most direct way is to watch the hotel surveillance. Every hall in Xingshi Huating is equipped with surveillance, and even the corners are not spared from surveillance. The screen in the surveillance room is very clear. Soon, Xia Jiang'an saw his own figure, and he was holding a red wine glass in his hand. Stop here. Yes, go back a little bit. Xia Jiang'an said quickly, he wanted to find out the truth. The screen went back a minute, and a waiter was holding a red wine glass in his hand. Going back a little bit, in a dim corner, the red wine glass was held by a man. The man smiled sinisterly and scary, and a small blue bottle appeared in his hand. Xinjianfeng. Xia Jiang'an and He Ting exclaimed almost at the same time. They had known this man for a long time. Xinjianfeng was their college classmate, and also their roommate who lived in the same dormitory with them. I really didn't expect it to be Xinjianfeng, the bastard. He Ting exclaimed, his tone was very angry. This bastard dared to harm me. Xia Jiang'an's anger also exploded instantly, like an enraged beast, wishing to eat this bastard alive immediately. When Xia Jiang'an and He Ting came out of Xingshi Huating Hotel, the sky outside was already shrouded in darkness, and the lights of the magic city were flickering at this time. Brother Xia, what do you want to do? He Ting asked. As a good brother, no matter what Xia Jiang'an wanted to do, he would support him unconditionally. Xia Jiang'an looked up at the dark sky, then lowered his head, and a faint sneer appeared at the corner of his mouth. For some reason, He Ting felt a little creepy. What do you think should be done? Xia Jiang'an asked back, with an unfathomable expression on his face. Fuck him. He Ting said the harsh words directly, like a little gangster. Okay, then fuck him. Just because Xinjianfeng dared to set a trap for him, Xia Jiang'an would not let him go no matter what. Call him now and ask him out to play. Okay, I'll do it. After saying that, He Ting took out his cell phone and called Xinjianfeng. Hello, Xinjianfeng, do you want to play? It's still early, come to Xia Jiang'an bar, let's get together. He Ting performed very well, and his tone was the same as usual. Xinjianfeng usually has a good relationship with them and often hangs out together, but Xia Jiang'an didn't expect that Xinjianfeng would dare to set him up behind his back. Why is this? Xia Jiang'an was puzzled. During this period, Xinjianfeng was very nervous, afraid that the matter would be leaked. But now, it has been several days since this happened, and there is nothing unusual, so he can finally rest assured.
When Xin Jinfeng received a call from He Ting, in order not to reveal the flaws, he had to pretend that they had a good relationship. He smiled and said, "Okay, I'll be there right away." After hanging up the phone, Xia Jiang'an and He Ting looked at each other and couldn't help laughing. This kid is quite good at acting. Since this kid wants to play, Xia Jiang'an can play with him. Pretend in front of him. Xin Jinfeng is far behind in this aspect. Let's go, let's put some seasoning in Xin Jinfeng's glass later. Xia Jiang'an walked in front. He Ting hurriedly followed and asked with a smile, "Brother Xia, what seasoning do you want to add?" Xia Jiang'an turned around and made a hush gesture to him, smiling mysteriously, "This is a secret, I can't tell you yet." The more mysterious Xia Jiang'an was, the more He Ting wanted to know, and he felt itchy in his heart. He had seen Xia Jiang'an's tricks. "I remember when I was very young, the kids in their area were very afraid of him and secretly called Xia Jiang'an little monster. We will act according to circumstances later. We must not let Xin Jinfeng know what we are going to do. We must pretend that nothing has happened. We must let him think that we are still good brothers." Okay. Xia Jiang'an got on the sports car driven by He Ting, and soon the sports car sped away like lightning. Xia Jiang'an Bar is a bar in the Magic City. Those who come here to play are all rich second generations or star second generations. Thanks to Master He, Xia Jiang'an has also been here. Xin Jinfeng is a rich second generation, but Xia Jiang'an doesn't know much about the specific situation. He just heard from others that Xin Jinfeng's father opened a company in the Magic City and it seems that the business is pretty good. "Stop here, stop quickly." Passing by a pharmacy, Xia Jiang'an signaled He Ting to stop the car quickly. The two walked into the drugstore, and Xia Jiang'an walked directly to a salesperson and asked, "Beautiful lady, do you sell laxatives here?" "Laxatives? We have ones for humans and animals. Which one do you want?" Xia Jiang'an thought for a while, and then said firmly, "I want to buy ones for animals. It's for those beasts that are worse than pigs and dogs." Xia Jiang'an emphasized it again. He Ting stood beside him, and when he heard what Xia Jiang'an said, he suddenly felt a chill and pulled the corner of his mouth. He suddenly felt a little sympathetic to Xin Jinfeng. The laxatives bought for animals must be very effective. If they were eaten by humans, wouldn't they be half dead? Well, this is indeed Xia Jiang'an's style. Xia Jiang'an put the laxatives in his trouser pocket, and the two got in the car again and drove towards the Xia Jiang'an bar. They soon disappeared from sight, and the speed was amazing. Chapter 13, You Will Suffer for Your Own Actions. In the Xia Jiang'an bar, the lights flickered, the smell of cigarettes and alcohol wafted everywhere, accompanied by the sound of music and laughter. Xia Jiang'an and He Ting sat in an inconspicuous corner and ordered a few glasses of champagne. Without any hesitation, Xia Jiang'an opened the laxative and poured it into one of the glasses of wine. Xia Jiang'an picked up the wine glass with his slender white fingers and swung it gracefully, allowing the laxative and wine to blend perfectly together. "Xin Jinfeng, you provoked me first, don't blame me later. I've already shown mercy by not putting a packet of aphrodisiac in it." Xia Jiang'an put the wine glass on the table, looked up at the door of the bar, a sneer flashed in his eyes. At the entrance of Xia Jiang'an bar, Xin Jinfeng appeared wearing a long windbreaker. Xin Jinfeng looked handsome, with good temperament and figure. He is exactly the male god in the eyes of little girls. "Xiaofeng, we are here." He Ting waved to him enthusiastically. Xin Jinfeng walked over with a decent smile on his face and sat down with extraordinary manners. "Jiang'an, He Ting." Xin Jinfeng also greeted them warmly. To others, these three boys are just good brothers. The moment he entered the bar, Xin Jinfeng secretly looked Xia Jiang'an up and down. Seeing that Xia Jiang'an was unharmed, he frowned slightly. That night, he specially arranged for Xia Jiang'an to have some older sisters who did that kind of work. One of them had that kind of disease. Xin Jinfeng specifically told them to serve Xia Jiang'an well. But after that night, he couldn't contact the older sisters he had found, so he wasn't quite sure what happened to Xia Jiang'an after that night. Xia Jiang'an felt that Xin Jinfeng's gaze was always on him, which made him feel extremely disgusted, but he still showed a very warm smile on the surface. "Xiaofeng, why did you leave so quickly at my mother's wedding that night? Didn't we agree to get drunk?" Xia Jiang'an put his hand on Xin Jinfeng's shoulder, behaving intimately. Suddenly, when he heard Xia Jiang'an bring up what happened that night, Xin Jinfeng had an ambiguous smile on his face and didn't say anything. Could it be that Xia Jiang'an already knew what happened that night and was it him who arranged it? Suddenly, Shen Jinfeng's heart became nervous. Xia Jiang'an ignored his frozen smile, moved closer to him, and said with a smile, "Alas, I know that Master Shen has never been able to drink well, so I don't blame you for this." After hearing what Xia Jiang'an said, Shen Jinfeng saw Xia Jiang'an smiling again, just like usual, so he probably hadn't noticed it yet. At this time, Shen Jinfeng's heart finally relaxed. A smile appeared on his face again. He took the wine glass from Xia Jiang'an's hand and said generously, "Jiang'an, my family had an emergency that night, so I had to go back quickly. I was wrong. I will punish myself with a glass of wine." After saying this, Shen Jinfeng looked calm and drank all the wine in the glass. What Shen Jinfeng didn't see was that the moment he drank the wine, Xia Jiang'an and He Ting exchanged glances in a place where he couldn't see. Everything was going as planned. Soon, under He Ting's encouragement, the three of them drank a lot of wine. Gradually, Shen Jinfeng felt something was wrong with his stomach, but he didn't take it seriously. "Jiang'an, He Ting, I'm going to the bathroom," Shen Jinfeng said with a sullen face. "Okay, go ahead." Xia Jiang'an looked up at him, his tone very understanding. Shen Jinfeng immediately covered his stomach, stood up and walked towards the bathroom. Seeing that Shen Jinfeng had walked away, Xia Jiang'an and He Ting looked at each other. The stare at each other didn't last more than 3 seconds. Har har. Har har har. Soon, the two of them couldn't hold back any longer, and wild laughter came out of their mouths. The two of them laughed out loud, very crazily, and very relieved. You reap what you sow. Shen Jinfeng stayed in the bathroom for a full 20 minutes. When he came back, he looked pale. "Hey, Xiaofeng, why does it take you so long to go to the bathroom?" He Ting complained like a normal friend. Shen Jinfeng said with a pale face, "I don't know what happened. My stomach felt really uncomfortable just now. Come on, let's continue drinking." He Ting poured a few more glasses of wine in a hurry. Shen Jinfeng looked at the full glass of wine with a bitter expression. He couldn't help but glare at He Ting, the instigator. His eyes were very obscure and He Ting didn't notice it, but Xia Jiang'an who was standing next to him saw it very clearly. But Xia Jiang'an didn't say it out loud. He just curled the corners of his mouth, revealing a hint of sarcasm where no one could see. "Come on, let's have a toast." "Okay, cheers." Shen Jinfeng smiled with a fake smile, frowned, suppressed the urge to vomit, and drank the wine. After drinking a glass of champagne, Shen Jinfeng's stomach began to churn again. He quickly stood up, holding his buttocks. "Jiang'an, He Ting, I need to go to the bathroom." Before they could respond, Shen Jinfeng ran to the bathroom, squeezing his buttocks hard as he ran, as if he was afraid that he would not be able to hold it in and would poop in his pants. Looking at Shen Jinfeng's miserable appearance, Xia Jiang'an and He Ting smiled at each other. "Brother Xia, isn't it too easy for this kid to be tortured like this?" He Ting still felt unsatisfied. This bitch actually gave her good brother that kind of drug and also found several old women. Whenever he thought of this, He Ting became angry. Xia Jiang'an's eyes were fierce and vicious, like a poisonous snake. Looking at Shen Jinfeng's back as he left, he sneered and said, "Don't worry, this is just the beginning. Since this kid wants to act, let's play with him." On their way to the bathroom, Shen Jinfeng suddenly felt cold all over, as if a cold wind was blowing through his body. This time, Shen Jinfeng spent 10 minutes longer than the previous time to go to the bathroom. When he came back again, Shen Jinfeng was covered in cold sweat and looked pale and weak. "Xiaofeng, did you eat something dirty?" Xia Jiang'an walked forward and looked at Shen Jinfeng with a very considerate look. Shen Jinfeng held his stomach. He was very weak at this moment. He had no strength in his body. Even his voice was weak. "Well, maybe." "Forget it, Xiaofeng, you'd better stop being stubborn. Since you are not feeling well, you should go back quickly. We can get together again when we have time." Xia Jiang'an said very considerately, and even supported Shen Jinfeng's body considerately. From the perspective of others, the relationship between these three boys is really good. "Okay, then I'll go home first." Shen Jinfeng had wanted to leave for a long time, and what Xia Jiang'an said was exactly what he wanted. As soon as Xia Jiang'an said it, he agreed immediately. "Xiaofeng, please be careful." After helping Shen Jinfeng into the taxi, Xia Jiang'an and He Ting waved goodbye enthusiastically. TSK, look at how good their relationship is. I'm quite envious. I also want to have such a good friend. Two boys passed by them and saw this scene, and they were very envious. He he. This is what Xia Jiang'an thought. Xia Jiang'an turned his head to look at He Ting and praised him. Master He, your acting skills are pretty good. I think you can consider pursuing a career in the entertainment industry in the future. Hearing the compliment from his good brother, He Ting pretended to be modest and said, "Oh, it's just average. How can it compare to your acting skills, brother Xia?" He Ting originally thought that Xia Jiang'an would be polite to him, but Xia Jiang'an was so proud that he said, "It's okay. I dare to admit that I am second, and no one dares to claim to be first. Har har, brother Xia, you are so shameless. Har har, you are really thick-skinned." The two boys joked with each other and went back to the bar laughing. Sitting in the bar booth again, He Ting's curiosity could no longer be suppressed, and he asked, "Brother Xia, tell me quickly, how did you escape from those old women that night?" As soon as this matter was mentioned, Xia Jiang'an felt unhappy and he drank a glass of wine in one gulp. He Ting is his good brother, and he has no intention of hiding it from him. I hit their leader's hand with a wine glass, and then took the opportunity to escape. Xia Jiang'an said in a flat tone. What happens next? He Ting was extremely curious at this time. His face rarely turned red like the afterglow of the sunset. He hesitated for a moment before saying, "Brother Jiang, I heard from others that after taking this medicine, you must have sex with a woman to unlock the effect of the medicine. Is this true?" Xia Jiang'an rolled his eyes at He Ting. He didn't care about the previous thrilling escape experiences, but this guy was most concerned about this. Damn, this is so sad. Xia Jiang'an suddenly felt that he had made the wrong friends. Chapter 14 I am still innocent. Xia Jiang'an glared at He Ting. Can they still play together? He Ting ignored the look and asked, "Brother Xia, just tell me, I'm really curious." Xia Jiang'an rolled his eyes and said with a smile, "You can try it yourself, and then you will know it naturally." He Ting. Okay, I won't joke with you anymore. Xia Jiang'an straightened his back and started to get serious. He Ting, I had a woman that night. Is that true? Is that woman pretty? Seeing his friend's eyes glowing, Xia Jiang'an's face turned black and he was speechless again. Brother, why is your focus always different from mine? The point is not to discuss whether it is beautiful or not. Xia Jiang'an secretly complained in his heart. However, this reminds me of the question He Ting raised later. On the TV screen, Qin Yuwan, dressed in a green military uniform, exuding an indescribable beauty, suddenly appeared in his mind. Xia Jiang'an's face was a little hot, and he couldn't help but say, "Of course it must be a stunning beauty. If she's ugly, I can't eat her." Brother Xia, is this true or false? Don't lie to me. When He Ting heard that the other party was a beautiful woman, his gossipy heart was ready to move. Seeing the suspicion in his friend's eyes made Xia Jiang'an very unhappy. Could he be lying? I'm telling the truth, and I have photos here to prove it. In order to prove that what he said was credible, Xia Jiang'an picked up his mobile phone and opened the photo album. In the photo, the quilt covers most of Qin Yuwan's skin, but the small amount of skin that is exposed is breathtakingly beautiful. Qin Yuwan's black hair spread out like clouds, her eyes were quietly closed, and her absolutely beautiful face seemed unreal, as if she was a goddess who had strayed into the mortal world. He Ting grabbed the phone and stared at it closely. His eyes were like bright stars at this moment. You little pervert, wipe the saliva from the corner of your mouth. Don't look at it too much, little pervert. Seeing He Ting's lecherous look, Xia Jiang'an couldn't help but complain in his heart, this guy is even more lecherous than me. Brother Xia, you are so lucky. After returning the phone to Xia Jiang'an, He Ting looked him up and down with admiring eyes and said with a smile. He Ting then asked, Brother Xia, tell me quickly, how do you feel? Is everything in the TV series real? He Ting asked again, Brother Xia, please tell me how you feel. He Ting asked again, Brother Xia, is this woman's figure really as hot as in the photo? He Ting smiled mysteriously, Brother Xia, do you feel like you're dying of ecstasy? Xia Jiang'an. What kind of friend did he make? A little pervert. Don't ask, I don't know. Xia Jiang'an said embarrassedly, his face slightly red, and waved his hands. The feeling of ecstasy. He didn't feel anything at all. He had drugs on him that night, and his head was groggy and he didn't feel anything. However, in my memory it seemed like the other person was screaming in pain. Go away. Xia Jiang'an, how could you think of such a shameful thing? Xia Jiang'an quickly stopped thinking about the messy things in his mind. His face was already slightly flushed, as red as a cherry. Seeing Xia Jiang'an blushing, He Ting was shocked, as if he had seen a new world, and said exaggeratedly, Xia Jiang'an, you actually blush. In the fine arts department of University A, everyone knows that Xia Jiang'an is famous for being thick-skinned. Xia Jiang'an pursed her lips and said, don't talk nonsense, I'm still very innocent. After saying that, he blinked his big eyes as if to prove it. He Ting almost believed it. Brother Xia, stop pretending in front of me. You can only fool those innocent junior high school girls like this. Hey, let's stop talking about this and get back to the point. He Ting, don't you think this woman looks familiar? Xia Jiang'an was about to remind his friend that if he knew the woman's true identity, he would probably regret the questions he had just asked. Hearing Xia Jiang'an's words, He Ting was puzzled. He felt that the person looked familiar, as if he had seen him somewhere before, but he couldn't remember where for a moment. Take another closer look. Xia Jiang'an handed over the phone generously. He Ting looked at it carefully, zoomed in and looked at it a few more times, and the feeling of familiarity became stronger. This is Miss Qin. Suddenly, He Ting's eyes widened in horror, as if he had seen a devil. Don't tell me, this person is really Miss Qin. There was a slight tremor in He Ting's tone. Yes, it's the person you are thinking of. Xia Jiang'an replied calmly. His guess was confirmed. He Ting suddenly felt that the phone in his hand was a hot potato and quickly returned it to Xia Jiang'an. Always remember, He Ting, didn't see anything just now, absolutely nothing. He Ting's heart was trembling violently at this time, and he emphasized repeatedly. Oh my god! What on earth did he just do? He actually dared to look at Miss Qin's photos and made some mean comments. Oh my god! If Miss Qin knew about this, would she send someone to dig out his eyes, making him blind and unable to see anything anymore? Or send someone to scrape his mouth so that he becomes mute and can no longer speak as he pleases? The more he thought about it, the more terrifying it was. He Ting felt that it was very likely and was extremely frightened. In Shanghai, who doesn't he know Miss Qin? This person is the real superior, an absolute big shot, and a ruthless character who kills without blinking an eye. Is it necessary to be so scared? Xia Jiang'an was a little confused when he saw his friend's dramatic reaction. He also knew that Qin Yuwan was very famous outside, but based on the few hours he spent with Qin Yuwan was indeed very domineering and perverted. But it's not as cruel as the rumors say, right? Hearing what Xia Jiang'an said, He Ting couldn't help but sigh. This kid is just like a newborn calf who is not afraid of a tiger. The He Ting family was able to gain a foothold in Shanghai and afford to open the #1 hotel in Shanghai, so their status was naturally extraordinary. However, he had seen the scene in which his father, several uncles, and Qin Yuwan were in the conference room. They were walking on thin ice the whole time and dared not even breathe. These elders are so respectful, let alone them, the younger generations. Brother Xia, you just wish you good luck. He Ting looked at his friend with some concern. He didn't know whether it would be a blessing or a curse for his friend to provoke such a big shot. What's more, my good friend has another relationship with Miss Qin. Thinking of this, He Ting felt a headache and became even more worried about Xia Jiang'an. Oh, I'm really worried. Come and have a drink with us. The only way to relieve my worries is to drink Dukang. When Xia Jiang'an thought of Qin Yuwan and the thing he agreed to in an emergency, he felt extremely headache and worried. Okay, let's drink. He Ting also saw his friend's troubles, and he was also very straightforward. He picked up the wine glass and said, come on, let's get drunk tonight. At this moment, both of them started drinking, one cup after another, and soon, they were both drunk. Chapter 15 He is my Qin Yuwan's man. When Qin Yuwan returned to the magic city from the border, the sky had turned dark. She did not return to her residence as usual, but asked the driver to drive to Qin's house. It has been almost a week since she last saw Xia Jiang'an, and she still misses him a little. During this period, Xia Jiang'an's voice, appearance and smile always appeared in her mind, especially that night when he was so dissolute under her. For Qin Yuwan, this is extremely tempting. Qin Yuwan felt that she was terminally ill. Otherwise, why would she spend her precious time missing a man? Moreover, after returning from the border, the first thing I did, as a person with severe misophobia, was not to take a shower. But I wanted to see the little guy as soon as possible. Miss, we're here. The special car stopped at the gate of Qin's compound. The beautiful bodyguard sitting in the passenger seat got up and got out of the car, standing outside the door and looking around vigilantly. In the back row of the car, Qin Yuwan hadn't had a good sleep for several days and was now sleeping with her eyes closed. Seeing that Qin Yuwan was resting, the beautiful bodyguard did not dare to disturb her. She stood straight and waited by the side. A minute later, the tightly closed beautiful eyes opened, revealing a pair of enchanting eyes with a natural sense of alienation. She stepped out of the car with her long beautiful legs, and her personal beautiful bodyguard followed behind her. At Qin's house, Qin Jishue and Xia's mother were eating in the living room. Little sister, why are you here? Qin Jishue put down his chopsticks, with surprise in his eyes. His godsister is very busy and it is almost impossible to see her in person. Yeah. Qin Yuwan nodded. Even though this was her brother, her attitude remained cold. Have you eaten? Hurry up and add a set of bowls and chopsticks for Miss Qin. Before coming, Qin Yuwan had not had time to eat, so she did not refuse and sat on a stool. She glanced around casually, and when she saw there were only 2 people here, her eyes dimmed a little. She picked up the chopsticks and asked casually, why didn't the other 2 come down to eat? Qin Jishue was stunned. He didn't expect that his usually cold little sister would take the initiative to care about the 2 juniors. After realizing what was going on, he quickly replied, Wood said he had eaten and is staying in his room. As for Xiaoan, he went out to dinner with his friends this afternoon and won't be back for dinner tonight. This little guy, doesn't he want to go home for dinner? Suddenly, Qin Yuan's brows frowned, and a raging anger began to surge in her heart. She traveled all the way to see him, but he was out having fun with his friends. Who gave him the courage? How dare he not be at home when she wanted to see him? It's simply unforgivable. Suddenly, even though there was a table full of delicious food in front of her, Qin Yuwan was no longer in the mood to eat. Qin Yuwan put down her bowl and chopsticks and stood up. Little sister, what's wrong with you? Qin Jishue asked with some confusion when he saw that his little sister had not eaten a bite yet. I'm full. Her tone was so calm that it was hard to guess her emotions. I have something to do, I'll leave first. After saying this, Qin Yuwan walked out the door. The car started, rumbled, and disappeared into the night. Dad, is second aunt here? Where is she? Qin Wuder ran downstairs happily, looking around the living room with lightning eyes, but couldn't find Qin Yuwan. Didn't he the servant just tell me that second aunt was here? He even tidied himself up. Just left. Qin Jishue replied. What's going on? Didn't we just get here? The smile on Qin Wood's face disappeared instantly, and his eyes were full of disappointment. In the dark night, the driver respectfully asked, Miss, where are we going next? Qin Yuwan raised her jade hand and pressed her temple. Her tone was cold, but it made people shudder. Within 10 minutes, I want to know Xia Jiang'an's current exact location. What is he doing? Who is the person next to him? Is he a man or a woman? It was a dark night, and in less than 10 minutes, the beautiful personal bodyguard reported the information to Qin Yuwan. Miss, Master Xia is at the Xia Jiang'an bar. He seems to be drunk. He is accompanied by a friend named He Ting. The beautiful bodyguard's voice was steady and powerful, like huge waves in the deep sea, and every word was heavy. A smiley Jianghu bar. When she heard the word bar, Qin Yuwan's brows furrowed and her eyes became deep, as if there was a ferocious beast hiding in them. A boy has no sense of safety when going out. Will you protect yourself? Walk. Yes. The car was like a bloodthirsty beast, making a domineering roar and rushing out quickly. At the Xia Jiang'an bar, Xia Jiang'an and He Ting were already drunk and unconscious. They were sleeping on the table. Their sleeping postures were extremely ugly, and there was even a lot of saliva flowing from the corners of their mouths. Xia Jiang'an sniffed his nose, sucked back his saliva, smacked his lips, and continued to sleep soundly. Not far from where they were, there were 6 women with colorfully dyed hair, looking at the 2 sleeping boys greedily with wolf-like eyes. These 2 young men are obviously virgins. Bring them to the hotel. We sisters will serve them well and we can extort some money from them later. A yellow-haired woman took a deep puff of the cigarette, and then her body trembled. Her expression was one of horror and enjoyment, and she exhaled a thick white mist. It was obvious that this was no ordinary smoke. Okay, Sister Xiao. Two extremely thin women, who looked like they had indulged in excessive sexual activities on a daily basis, stood up and walked towards Xia Jiang'an and the other man with evil smiles on their faces. Sister Xiao, our luck is really good this time. The two women who had indulged themselves in excessive sexual activities supported the unconscious Xia Jiang'an and He Ting and walked out of the bar. The woman called Sister Xiao stared at Xia Jiang'an's handsome face, and the blood in her body began to boil. Her body couldn't help but tremble a few times. Damn it. Let's go back to the hotel and have a good time with our sisters. The yellow-haired woman looked anxious and walked in front. As he was swaying, Xia Jiang'an regained consciousness and vaguely saw several women with shamat hairstyles supporting him. And he even wanted to take advantage of him. Xia Jiang'an suddenly felt extremely disgusted and wanted to vomit. Hey! You stinky women, where do you want to help me go? Let me go right now. Xia Jiang'an struggled hard. Let He Ting go. You are not allowed to bully my friend. However, Xia Jiang'an was alone and weak. How could he withstand 3 or 4 women? What's more, he was drunk and was quickly subdued by these women. Xia Jiang'an's struggle soon attracted the attention of other people in the bar. The yellow-haired woman looked fierce and said fiercely, "Don't mind your own business." Obviously, the yellow-haired woman was not a simple person. When she threatened, no one dared to disobey her. Take it away quickly. Xia Jiang'an and He Ting were dragged out of the bar and brought to the parking lot at the door. Let me go, young master. Par. While the two women who were holding him were not paying attention, Xia Jiang'an quickly broke free and slapped the yellow-haired woman fiercely and loudly. You cheap man! How dare you slap me? The blonde-haired woman covered her burning face, looking mad with rage and looking terrifying. Xia Jiang'an was dismissive. Even though he was drunk, he was still arrogant. Even if your grandfather came, I would still beat him. You stinky woman, why don't I dare to beat you? You. The yellow-haired woman has always been bullying others since she was a child. Who dares to disobey her? But now, a cheap man actually dared to shit on her head. Suddenly, she was so angry that her eyes turned red. You cheap man. Bang. After receiving a heavy slap, Xia Jiang'an felt a burning pain on his face. Take them away. Serve these two bastards well tonight. The 6 women roughly stuffed the 2 people into the car. Bang. A loud noise broke the peaceful night. A camouflaged off-road vehicle blocked the middle of the road, and 2 men got out of the vehicle, holding bayonets in their hands and with no expression on their faces. Chapter 16. He is hers. He dared to hold a knife in the street, which was both arrogant and domineering. The 6 people in the car were already scared half to death. They had never seen such a scene before. Get out of the car. The beautiful bodyguard pointed a knife at the 6 people. Being pointed at by the sharp blade, the 6 people were extremely frightened and quickly rolled out of the car with their heads in their hands, fearing that they would be stabbed. Miss, Master Xia is in the car. The beautiful bodyguard led the way, and Qin Yuwan, who had a strong aura, stood up and got out of the car, stepping on the ground with a pair of combat boots, arrogant and presumptuous. This woman seemed to be born noble and could suppress the aura around her. As soon as she appeared, the air around her seemed to be sucked away and the atmosphere became suffocating and depressing. Qin Yuwan didn't even look at the 6 women kneeling on the ground, and walked straight towards the car. From that cold look, it can be seen that Qin Yuwan is in a very bad mood at the moment. She bent down slightly and looked into the car. Inside the car, Xia Jiang'an had already fallen asleep again, slumped over on the seat in an ugly manner. When she saw the situation inside the car clearly, Qin Yuwan's frown deepened. Without saying a word, Qin Yuwan bent down and hugged Xia Jiang'an in her arms. Suddenly, she smelled a pungent smell of alcohol, and a strong sense of disgust appeared in Qin Yuwan's beautiful eyes. She normally doesn't drink alcohol, and she hates this particularly unpleasant smell the most. Resisting the urge to throw Xia Jiang'an away, Qin Yuwan looked down at the little guy in her arms, and her eyes were suddenly attracted by that face. There was a very obvious palm print on the little guy's originally fair face. Very eye-catching. In an instant, the temperature around dropped suddenly. A strong sense of oppression seemed like a storm was about to hit, with thunder and lightning. Everyone felt difficulty breathing and the atmosphere was extremely depressing. It was as if an invisible hand was strangling their throats. Who did this? Qin Yuwan's tone was icy cold as she spoke these words slowly, like a death warrant from the mouth of the king of hell. How dare anyone touch Qin Yuan's people? The cold and ruthless gaze finally turned to the 6 people who were kneeling on the ground and trembling. It wasn't me, it wasn't me. This was done by Sister Xiao. Feeling Qin Yuan's captivating gaze, the 6 people's last line of defense collapsed instantly, and they were terrified. This doesn't look like a human eye at all, there is no warmth at all. Who is this person named Xiao? There was extreme impatience in the cold tone. It's her, the one with yellow hair. At this time, the 5 people kneeling on the ground were already scared half to death, and they all pointed at the yellow-haired woman. From the moment they got off the car, they knew that this person was a big shot whom they could not afford to offend. If you think about it, how could someone who carries a bayonet be an ordinary person? Qin Yuwan looked at the yellow-haired woman with a cold gaze, as if she was stepping on an ant, and said, "Break her hand for me." These were obviously cruel and ruthless words, but Qin Yuwan said them so simply and casually. Hiss! There was a gasp. When the people around heard what Qin Yuwan said, they all showed fear on their faces, and looked at Qin Yuwan with extreme fear and dread. This is a cold-hearted person. Thump! After hearing what Qin Yuwan said, the yellow-haired woman completely collapsed. She kowtowed and cried. With tears streaming down his face, he begged for mercy. "I'm sorry, I didn't recognize the great man. Please be magnanimous and let me go." The blonde woman was really scared. She looked at this woman with an extremely powerful aura with her cold, beautiful eyes. She knew that this woman was not joking. But he really wanted to cripple her hands. Get out! The blonde woman threw herself at Qin Yuwan's feet. Qin Yuwan, whose legs were hugged, showed extreme disgust in her eyes and kicked the woman away. It's like kicking trash. The woman was kicked away and actually spat out a mouthful of blood. It can be imagined how powerful Qin Yuwan's kick was. The blonde woman slowly stood up, her face looking horrible and ferocious. Do you know who my father is? If you dare to touch me, my father will definitely come after you. My father is a big shot. If you dare to touch me, my father will make sure you can't survive in the Magic City. The blonde woman was obviously still afraid, but this was her last trump card. The reason why she dared to act so domineeringly in the Magic City was because she had an extraordinary father. Oh, really? Qin Yuwan chuckled, as if she had heard a huge joke, cold and cruel. So far, this is the first time someone dares to threaten me like this? Pass the knife to me. Qin Yuwan hugged Xia Jiang'an with one hand and extended the other hand to her personal bodyguard. Yes, miss. The beautiful bodyguard respectfully handed over a bayonet that exuded a cold luster. Catch this woman for me. Qin Yuwan ordered. Yes. 2 women in black stepped forward and picked up the woman with yellow hair. Qin Yuwan walked forward and said arrogantly, "Remember this, the person who crippled your hands is called Qin Yuwan." R. My hand, R. The blood splattered everywhere, it was shocking. The yellow-haired woman fainted immediately due to the tremendous pain. The people around were horrified when they saw the blood on the ground. Miss Qin. This person is actually Miss Qin. The people around all felt sad for the yellow-haired woman. When she met Miss Qin, no one could help her. You get him home safely now. Qin Yuwan pointed at one of her subordinates and asked her to escort He Ting home. Yes, miss. After receiving the order, the man directly carried He Ting out of the car and drove away in another SUV. Turning around and looking at the remaining 5 people, Qin Yuwan did not choose to do it herself this time, but ordered, the remaining 5 people, each of you, cripple one hand. Yes, miss. Suddenly, there were screams like a pig being slaughtered. Qin Yuwan held Xia Jiang'an in her arms and sat back in the car, looking forward with cold eyes. Xia Jiang'an lay on her lap and fell asleep. Miss, are we going back to Qin's house next? The driver turned his head and asked. Qin Yuwan looked down at the drunk and unconscious Xia Jiang'an, rubbed her temples with a headache, and said in an unhappy tone, "Let's go to their old place. She is going to punish this little guy severely. How dare you go to the bar and get drunk? For a boy, his safety awareness is so poor. As soon as I thought about it, the woman almost touched my little one." Qin Yuwan felt a surge of anger in her heart, as if a huge rock was pressing on her chest. In Qin Yuwan's mind, this little guy is her man, hers. She won't allow anyone to touch her little one. There is only one fate for those who get involved, and that is death. Chapter 17, You lie all the time, you deserve to be punished. 10 miles south of the Magic City, there is a very special house that is specially protected and no one can detect the location of this house. The owner of this seemingly ordinary but extremely unspecial mansion complex is Qin Yuwan. The gate of the mansion was heavily guarded, and several sentries saw Qin Yuwan's car slowly approaching. Salute in unison, and then let go. The car stopped at a 3-story Western-style building among the houses. This is Qin Yuwan's residence. Qin Yuwan got up and got out of the car, picked up Xia Jiang'an, and walked into the small Western-style building. The house has a large space, the overall decoration is extremely exquisite, and the surroundings are very tidy and clean. These seemingly ordinary pieces of furniture are actually specially customized and very valuable. After entering the password, Qin Yuwan went upstairs, walked into her bedroom, and threw Xia Jiang'an directly onto the big bed. Being thrown suddenly onto the big bed, Xia Jiang'an muttered a few words, turned over, and continued to sleep. Qin Yuwan stared at Xia Jiang'an on the bed with her cold, beautiful eyes. She sniffed her clothes and found an unpleasant smell of alcohol all over her body. She frowned and twisted her brows into a ball in dissatisfaction. Qin Yuwan had a cold face and strode into the bathroom. There was a sound of running water in the bathroom, and not long after, Qin Yuwan came out wrapped in a bath towel. Standing beside the bed, Qin Yuwan was wiping her hair carefully. Suddenly, she looked up with her beautiful eyes and revealed an expression of deep disgust. "Little guy, get up." Throwing the towel on the floor, Qin Yuwan grabbed Xia Jiang'an, who was sleeping very restlessly, with both hands and lifted him up without thinking. "I saw that on the big white bed, where Xia Jiang'an had slept just now, there was a pool of saliva, and the sheets were soaked. It is particularly obvious on this spotless white bed. Obviously, this is Xia Jiang'an's masterpiece." The temperature in the room seemed to drop to freezing point. But how could Xia Jiang'an, who was drunk and unconscious, feel it? He lay in Qin Yuwan's arms, and casually wanted to grab the bath towel on Qin Yuwan's body and use it to wipe the saliva from the corner of his mouth. Realizing what Xia Jiang'an was about to do, Qin Yuwan narrowed her eyes and said coldly, "Little guy, be quiet." "Oh, stop it. I need to wipe my saliva." He said this unconsciously and grabbed the bath towel directly with his hand, not giving Qin Yuwan time to stop him. After wiping the saliva from the corners of his mouth, Xia Jiang'an was finally satisfied and fell asleep comfortably again. The sleeping Xia Jiang'an had no idea that above his head, there was a pair of deep, beautiful eyes, cold and terrifying, as if they wanted to eat people. Qin Yuwan has a serious obsession with cleanliness, so she naturally can't stand it. However, Xia Jiang'an was drunk and unconscious, which made Qin Yuwan unable to do anything to him. "Damn. It's my bad luck." Qin Yuwan couldn't help but curse out loud. The smell of alcohol on Xia Jiang'an was so bad that Qin Yuwan frowned, picked up Xia Jiang'an and walked into the bathroom. Turning the water to the maximum, Qin Yuwan held Xia Jiang'an and stood under the shower. The sudden flow of water choked Xia Jiang'an, and he struggled frantically like a fish. "Arr! The water is about to choke me to death. Help! I'm drowning, come and save me. Help, help! I fell into the river, please save me." Xia Jiang'an struggled frantically and screamed. "Stop making noise." Qin Yuwan's face was dark and her voice was low. Her bath towel had just been thrown on the bed by her. Perfect vest line. There is amazing power hidden in the waist and abdomen. Beautiful legs as slender as jade. All exposed to the air. Xia Jiang'an, who was drenched in water, revealed his faintly visible abdominal muscles. The boiling blood was running wildly in the bathroom. "Arr! Beauty. She is actually a super beauty." Xia Jiang'an opened his blurry eyes. Xia Jiang'an's eyes were blurred as he exclaimed, "Fuck, this figure is too good, so sexy." Xia Jiang'an. There seemed to be a huge storm in Qin Yuwan's tone, and she spoke word by word from her throat. "This little guy is really brave. Beauty, you have such a great figure. Are you a model? Beauty, your figure is so great, the best, 100 times better than Qin Yuwan's. Little guy, not only did you dare to tease her in person, you even dared to say that she had a bad figure." Qin Yuwan's pretty face suddenly became as cold as ice, and it was about to freeze. Any woman would be very angry if her man told her that she had a bad figure. Even if the person she is compared with is herself. "Arr! It's so cold." The cold wind that blew in from nowhere made Xia Jiang'an shrink his neck and lean into Qin Yuwan's arms. Xia Jiang'an's action made Qin Yuwan's blood boil wildly. Qin Yuwan took a breath, her face already as red as a peach blossom. Little guy, don't play with fire. He lowered his head, as if catching a beloved prey, and accurately caught the little guy's lips. Normally, she hated the taste of alcohol, but now she felt it was particularly sweet, as if she was poisoned, and she wanted more. Beauty, can you be a little gentler to me? This is my first kiss. It seemed as if the oxygen in Xia Jiang'an's mouth was being sucked out and he couldn't breathe. Hearing what the little guy said, Qin Yuwan's beautiful eyes fell on his blushing face and she twitched the corners of her mouth. First kiss? Then wasn't the last kiss a kiss? You are talking nonsense. You deserve to be punished. Thinking of this, Qin Yuwan pressed forward again. A single spark can start a prairie fire. Huff. After a short breath, Xia Jiang'an gently pushed Qin Yuwan away, her little face flushed, and she chuckled and said, "Beautiful girl, please be gentle, this is my first time." After saying that, Xia Jiang'an winked at Qin Yuwan, as if he was teasing her. Qin Yuwan felt like she was going crazy. How could this be the first time? Could it be that what happened that night was fake? Little guy, you lied all the time. You should be punished. The spacious bathroom is bustling with activity. The next morning, the sun rose, like a golden agate inlaid in the distant sky, and the bugle calls in the distance were particularly loud. Qin Yuwan has a very regular schedule. As soon as 6 o'clock comes, she goes out for morning exercise training. Xia Jiang'an was lying in a sprawling position on the snow-white bed, with the quilt covering his body, revealing his 2 bare feet. Oh my god! My head is so dizzy. Xia Jiang'an woke up slowly, rubbed his head with both hands, and ruffled his black hair into a big afro. What's going on? Why does my head hurt so much? Xia Jiang'an opened his eyes in confusion, and then saw himself. Suddenly, Xia Jiang'an's mind became clear. Oh my god! Was the beautiful dream I had last night real? I was really with a woman. Xia Jiang'an still has some memories of the beautiful dream he had last night. In the dream, he seemed to be quite proactive. But who could have expected that this was actually true? Xia Jiang'an, you need to stay calm. Calm down. Xia Jiang'an patted his head and tried to calm himself down. At this point, he had no choice but to face it. So, the question is, who is this woman? Chapter 18 just for enjoyment. Xia Jiang'an got up from the bed, looked around, but couldn't find his clothes. Finally, he found his clothes in the bathroom. They were wet and smelled badly of alcohol. They were completely unwearable. Xia Jiang'an had no choice but to rummage through the drawers in the room. Women's clothes. I don't want them. Xia Jiang'an found a piece of clothing, but discovered it was women's clothing, so he threw it away. It's women's clothes again. I don't want it. Throw it away again. Women's clothes, and women's clothes again. Are there no men's clothes here? Without caring too much, Xia Jiang'an had to put on the women's clothes. The size was very small and Xia Jiang'an felt very uncomfortable wearing them. Suddenly, Xia Jiang'an felt that there was a familiar smell on the clothes, which smelled very good. But he couldn't remember where he had smelled it. Walking out of the room, Xia Jiang'an looked around the bedroom. It wasn't big, but it was quite exquisite. Hey! This guy looks familiar. Xia Jiang'an's attention was suddenly attracted by the paintings on the wall. Xia Jiang'an is currently a freshman in the Department of Fine Arts. From Xia Jiang'an's professional perspective, the painting on the wall is very exquisite and the painter is very skilled. It would be impossible to achieve such an effect without 40 years of experience. It is obviously the work of a famous artist. However, the quality of the painting was not what Xia Jiang'an cared about most. What attracted Xia Jiang'an's attention most was the content of the painting. The painting shows a woman in military uniform. He is majestic, dignified, and heroic. Even if you just look at the painting, you can feel the powerful aura of this woman, which makes people can't help but feel admiration and worship for her. Qin Yuwan. This woman is really Qin Yuwan. Xia Jiang'an's tone changed from doubt to affirmation very quickly. That's right, the person in this painting is Qin Yuwan. In this case, the woman last night was also Qin Yuwan. Thinking of this, Xia Jiang'an's frown relaxed a lot. My heart couldn't help but relax. Gurgle. Xia Jiang'an's stomach suddenly growled. He felt hungry, as if something was pulling at his stomach. I'm so hungry. Is there anything to eat here? Xia Jiang'an looked around. The place was very clean and he only found 3 bottles of mineral water. Because he was so hungry and his stomach was protesting, Xia Jiang'an had no choice but to unscrew the bottle cap and drink a bottle of Nongmin spring mineral water directly into his stomach. After drinking a bottle of water, the feeling of hunger finally eased a little. Xia Jiang'an wanted to go out, but found that the door was locked with a fingerprint combination lock and he couldn't open it at all. There was no TV in the house, his cell phone was missing, and there was no entertainment to kill time. Because he was very hungry, Xia Jiang'an didn't want to waste his energy, so he lay on the sofa. Drop. At this moment, an electronic sound suddenly sounded and the door was opened. Xia Jiang'an quickly turned his head to look over. Qin Yuwan was wearing a military uniform and holding a meal in her hand. She walked slowly towards them, with some sweat on her hair. Their well-fitting military uniform makes her figure look even more slender and slim, a perfect combination of tenderness and firmness, exuding a unique charm. Qin Yuwan. Xia Jiang'an stood up and called out stiffly. Xia Jiang'an had done that with Qin Yuwan again last night, and his mood was extremely complicated at the moment. He didn't know if it was because this woman's aura was too strong, but when he saw Qin Yuwan, he felt very nervous and sweat broke out on his forehead. Qin Yuwan looked at him. The little guy was wearing her clothes and shorts. Although it covered his buttocks, it revealed 2 white and slender legs. His legs were slender and his muscles were smooth, making him look so powerful that it was impossible to look away. Qin Yuwan's eyes darkened slightly as she walked over and asked, Xia Jiang'an, how long have you been awake? At this time, Xia Jiang'an didn't know how to get along with Qin Yuwan in the future. They went to bed and something happened that shouldn't have happened. And it happened twice. At this moment, Xia Jiang'an was speechless when facing the embarrassment of Qin Yuwan. Qin Yuwan, Sorwadi Ka. Xia Jiang'an said with great embarrassment. The other person's body was getting closer and closer to him, so close that he could smell the unique scent of Qin Yuwan as long as he breathed. Hey! Qin Yuwan, is this the food you brought for me? Xia Jiang'an looked around awkwardly and found that Qin Yuwan was holding a box lunch in her hand. Immediately, Xia Jiang'an fixed his eyes on the lunchbox and couldn't move away. Xia Jiang'an sniffed hard and seemed to smell the fragrance of rice. Immediately, Xia Jiang'an's eyes lit up and he stared at the lunchbox in Qin Yuwan's hand, as if he was looking at a shining gem. Gurgle gurgle. Xia Jiang'an's stomach began to protest again. Qin Yuwan naturally heard the sounds made by Xia Jiang'an's stomach. Seeing that the little guy was just staring at the lunchbox and completely ignoring her, Qin Yuwan felt a little unhappy. This lunchbox is so ordinary, how can it be prettier than this? It had been almost 3 minutes since she walked into the room, but Xia Jiang'an's gaze stayed on her for only 2 or 3 seconds. As a person who loves to eat, and a hungry foodie at that. At this moment, Xia Jiang'an didn't care about the embarrassment. There was only one cry in his heart, I want to eat, I'm so hungry. Qin Yuwan, how do you know I'm hungry now? Before Qin Yuwan could respond, Xia Jiang'an rushed over, grabbed the lunchbox, opened it and took a look. It turned out to be fried pork with peppers. Xia Jiang'an was very happy. Thank you, I will eat well. Xia Jiang'an's tone was very happy, and he even smiled widely at Qin Yuwan. Stop. You are not allowed to eat. Xia Jiang'an had just opened his mouth and was about to put a piece of meat in it when the woman's voice suddenly came to his ears. At the same time, the lunchbox was also taken away by Qin Yuwan. Next time, you are not allowed to go to places like bars. Otherwise, you will bear the consequences yourself. Qin Yuwan's eyes were cold and sharp like a blade. Okay, I get it. I won't go there again next time. Xia Jiang'an shrank his neck and nodded repeatedly. So can you let me eat now? However, Qin Yuwan remained unmoved, with a cold look in her eyes. Have you washed up? Not yet. Xia Jiang'an shook his head. I'll go right now, wash up, and then come back to eat. Qin Yuwan ordered forcefully and domineeringly, while pushing Xia Jiang'an into the bathroom. As a person with severe misophobia, Qin Yuwan would never allow such unhygienic behavior to happen in front of her. Oh my god! Xia Jiang'an, who was pushed into the bathroom by Qin Yuwan, felt like 1,000 horses were flying through his heart at this moment. I'm almost starving to death, and you still want me to wash up first?
Qin Yuwan, wash up later. Think about it, if I brush my teeth now, won't they be dirty again after dinner? Xia Jiang'an bent down and tried to get out from under Qin Yuwan's arm. I said it's not allowed, so it's not allowed. Qin Yuwan's attitude was very firm, and she was very persistent when it came to hygiene. The most important thing is that she quite likes that mouth. Xia Jiang'an needs to keep his mouth clean, because he never knows when he will be able to enjoy it. Qin Yuwan stretched out her hand and pressed against Xia Jiang'an's head, and pushed Xia Jiang'an into the bathroom like a puppy. Deep well ice. I curse you to step on a pile of dog shit when you go out later. Xia Jiang'an didn't know Qin Yuwan's true thoughts at this time, and thought that Qin Yuwan was just a severe misophobia patient. If Xia Jiang'an knew that he had to keep his mouth clean and hygienic just to make it easier for Qin Yuwan to enjoy it, then Xia Jiang'an would definitely not wash himself, make his mouth smell really bad, and then eat some durian, snail noodles or something like that. Trying to take advantage of me. Humph, not that easy. Chapter 19 Her Tenderness. After Xia Jiang'an washed up, Qin Yuwan nodded with satisfaction and let Xia Jiang'an go as if it were a blessing. I'm so hungry. Xia Jiang'an no longer cared about his image at this time. He rushed directly towards the lunchbox, then ate the rice in big mouthfuls, filling his mouth. Cough cough. He ate too quickly and a mouthful of rice got stuck in his throat. Eat slowly. If you dare to eat so fast again, I will throw the food directly into the trash can. Qin Yuwan looked at Xia Jiang'an from the side with an unhappy expression. How long has it been since this little guy last had a meal? Does he need to eat so fast? A glass of water was handed over. Xia Jiang'an didn't care. He took the water and drank it, and finally swallowed the rice stuck in his throat. He protected his lunchbox with both hands and looked at Qin Yuwan vigilantly. I won't let you touch my food. If you really dare to dump it into the trash can, I will fight you to the death. Xia Jiang'an had a vigilant look on his face, like a puppy guarding its food. In the mind of a foodie, especially a hungry foodie, eating is the most important thing. You eat. Qin Yuwan shook her head helplessly, stood up and walked towards the bedroom. She didn't even notice that there was a slight hint of doting in her beautiful eyes. Then, Qin Yuwan dealt with the things she had not finished, while Xia Jiang'an, after packing up the food, hesitated for a moment, and then knocked on Qin Yuwan's bedroom door. Knock, knock. Come in. Xia Jiang'an walked into the room somewhat hesitantly and stood in front of Qin Yuwan's desk. What's the matter? Qin Yuwan glanced at him, then looked at the documents in her hand, and then continued to deal with the things in her hands. Qin Yuwan, just pretend that nothing happened last night. Xia Jiang'an mustered up his courage and spoke. Qin Yuwan put down the folder in her hand and gracefully took off her gold-framed glasses. The temperature in her beautiful eyes suddenly dropped. What do you mean by pretending that nothing happened? Qin Yuwan's voice was very pleasant, but Xia Jiang'an sensed danger from it. The temperature in the room seemed to be much colder at this moment. Xia Jiang'an tried hard to suppress the fear in his heart. He looked straight at Qin Yuwan without any hesitation. He said firmly, "What happened last night?" Yes, just pretend it never happened. Her relationship with him must end. For the mother's happiness. You dare to say it again? Do you know what you just said? Qin Yuwan stood up suddenly, cold and cautious. Her eyes were too sharp, like a cold sword. Xia Jiang'an subconsciously felt scared and wanted to escape. But when he thought of his mother, what would she think if the affair between him and his aunt was exposed? For the sake of his mother, Xia Jiang'an gritted his teeth and tried his best to ignore the strong aura, and said word by word, I mean, Qin Yuwan, just pretend that what happened last night never happened. At the end, Xia Jiang'an added, whether it was last time or this time, it shouldn't have happened. Besides, I already have a girl I like in my heart. After a moment's silence, Xia Jiang'an said this. The gentle memory of the girl in the sunshine emerged in my mind. Liu Yuyan, when can you come back? Qin Yuwan's eyes were as cold as winter at this moment. She lifted Xia Jiang'an's chin and stared at him closely. Do you have someone you like? Yes. So our relationship must end here. Besides, it was you who forced me to do it last time. I was forced to do it, not willingly. Xia Jiang'an's chin hurt, but he still stubbornly looked into Qin Yuwan's beautiful eyes that were as cold as frost. Forced. Good, very good. Qin Yuwan's lips curled up into a slight smile, cruel and ruthless, like a devil from hell.
Okay, this time I'll let you see what it feels like to be forced. Xia Jiang'an, don't make me angry. You can't afford the consequences of making me angry. Qin Yuwan's beautiful eyes showed a fierceness that made people feel fearful. MMMM. What are you going to do to me? Xia Jiang'an widened his eyes. He never expected Qin Yuwan to kiss him. Qin Yuwan controlled his head with both hands and attacked him roughly with her lips. Her actions were very rough, like a punishment. Well, let me go, what are you going to do? Qin Yuwan controlled his head with one hand, and the other hand was very domineering, as if there was an electric current in her hand. Take your hand away. Do you know that this is very bad? Xia Jiang'an's face turned red, and he hated this woman named Qin Yuwan so much in his heart. What a devil! The first 2 times, Xia Jiang'an's mind was very confused, so he could barely accept it. But at this moment, his mind was very clear. Not good. Qin Yuwan raised her head and stared at Xia Jiang'an closely. She saw strong hatred in his eyes. He hates her. Qin Yuwan pulled the corner of her mouth, revealing a domineering and arrogant smile. Her beautiful eyes were filled with madness, and the words she spoke were like a demon. Okay, then it's up to you. Qin Yuwan, I hate you so much. Xia Jiang'an felt pain, his eyes were wet, and he glared at her fiercely. You are a devil, I hate you very much. The hatred in his eyes was very strong. You must always remember that no matter where you are mine, Qin Yuwan's man. From now on, you are not allowed to disobey me again, otherwise, you will bear the consequences yourself. Qin Yuwan was as cold and ruthless as a poisonous snake, and leaned over to speak in his ear. She will get the people and things she likes no matter what means. Even if he hated her, he had to stay by her side and not leave. After an unknown amount of time, Xia Jiang'an had already fallen asleep, like a pitiful little rabbit. With tears on his face, he looked so pitiful that it made people feel sorry for him. Compared to Xia Jiang'an, who fell asleep due to exhaustion, Qin Yuwan looked radiant and in high spirits. Looking at Xia Jiang'an, Qin Yuwan wiped the tears from Xia Jiang'an's face distressedly. Little guy, as long as you don't disobey me in the future, I will definitely treat you well. Qin Yuwan picked up Xia Jiang'an gently and walked into the bathroom, where she carefully washed Xia Jiang'an's body. This was the first time Qin Yuwan served a man like this. Her movements were very gentle. To her, the man in front of her seemed like a treasure given to her by God. Chapter 20. She wants to live here. When Xia Jiang'an woke up again, he was already dressed and sitting in the car. Looking out the window, he could see that it was already late at night. Xia Jiang'an moved slightly, his body still feeling a little tired. This shows how crazy Qin Yuwan was just now. Suddenly, Xia Jiang'an discovered that his head was resting on a pair of thighs, which moved slightly, and he slowly raised his head. Are you awake? Qin Yuwan's stunning face was close at hand, and her seductive voice came. Xia Jiang'an didn't respond to her, but just lowered his head quickly, not knowing what he was thinking. There was silence in the car. Not long after, Xia Jiang'an's deep voice sounded in the car, and he spoke in a low voice. Qin Yuwan, how long will it take? We have to agree on a deadline. After all these things, Xia Jiang'an finally understood that Qin Yuwan was a devil and a demon. He can't escape at all. There was only one choice before him, and that was to be Qin Yuwan's man. Goodbye, Liu Yuyan, the beautiful girl in my heart. After making this decision, Xia Jiang'an felt very painful, as if 10,000 ants were gnawing at his heart and blood was flowing. His voice was very low, about the same volume as a mosquito, but Qin Yuwan could hear it clearly. 1 month, 3 months, or a year? Xia Jiang'an guessed, while secretly observing Qin Yuwan's expression. However, Qin Yuwan's face was calm, without any sign of emotional fluctuation. Xia Jiang'an couldn't guess her true thoughts for a moment. Qin Yuwan raised her eyebrows, and a hint of joy flashed in her deep and beautiful eyes. The little guy agreed. However, Qin Yuwan remained calm on the surface and said coldly, it depends on your performance. 1 month, 2 years, or 3 years. What Qin Yuwan wants is a lifetime. Hearing this reply, Xia Jiang'an turned pale and felt inexplicably cold in his heart. Look at the performance. Is it a month or a year? However, Xia Jiang'an thought about it and began to feel fortunate. For a woman like Qin Yuwan, it would be easy to get any kind of man she wants. It was estimated that in less than a month, Qin Yuwan's interest in him was gone and she soon got bored. Qin Yuwan had a blank expression on her face, but she saw the excitement in the boy's eyes. She knew exactly what he was thinking. However, she was too lazy to say anything and just let Xia Jiang'an be happy. They drove in silence. Just as the car was approaching Qin's residence, Xia Jiang'an suddenly stopped the driver. Stop, stop. The driver was a young lady. She slowed down the car and turned around, but ignored Xia Jiang'an. Instead, she looked at Qin Yuwan, waiting for her orders. Xia Jiang'an now understood that no matter who it was, they were all following Qin Yuwan's orders. He turned his head, looked at Qin Yuwan, and asked, Qin Yuwan, ask the driver to stop the car. I want to get off here. Qin Yuwan looked at him and asked in confusion, give me a reason. What the hell is the reason? Xia Jiang'an almost flew into a rage. He and Qin Yuwan have always had an unclear relationship, and now it's so late, and they are still going home together. Don't they know that this will expose their relationship? Qin Yuwan, just let me get off here. It's too late now. It's not appropriate for you and I to appear in my house together. Xia Jiang'an tried his best to make his words understandable, fearing that he would accidentally anger this female devil again. Fortunately, Xia Jiang'an was so nervous, but Qin Yuwan said nonchalantly, what's inappropriate about this? Then, without looking at Xia Jiang'an, he ordered the driver, drive over. Humph, this domineering woman is so unreasonable. Xia Jiang'an was very angry, but he didn't dare to curse out loud. He could only care about Qin Yuwan in his heart. The driver heard the order and executed it immediately, and the car slowly drove into Qin's house. Hearing the sound of the car, the Qin family, who were about to eat, hurried out to see what was going on. Second aunt. As soon as the car stopped, Qin would rushed forward impatiently with a bright smile on his face. Qin Yuwan stood up and got out of the car. In response to Qin Wuder's enthusiasm, she just nodded lightly, and Xia Jiang'an followed her out of the car. Why did you come back with second aunt? When Qin Wuder saw Xia Jiang'an get out of the car, the smile on his face disappeared instantly. He asked in a low voice while no one was paying attention. Xia Jiang'an rolled his eyes, what the hell is it to you? Xia Jiang'an's attitude made Qin Wuder very angry and his face looked ugly, but he didn't dare to lose his temper in front of everyone. I'm warning you, you are not allowed to be with my second aunt from now on. After glaring at Xia Jiang'an fiercely, Qin Wuder followed Qin Yuwan in his leather shoes, like a peacock spreading its tail. Deep well ice. Xia Jiang'an shook his head helplessly, speechless. Xiaowen, why didn't you go home last night? After everyone else went in, Xia's mother pulled Xia Jiang'an aside and asked caringly. Seeing that his mother had no suspicion, Xia Jiang'an breathed a sigh of relief, a smile appeared on his face, and he pretended to be calm and said, Mom, I drank too much with He Ting last night, so I rested at his house. Next time if you sleep outside, you should tell your mother in advance, you know. Otherwise I will be very worried about you. Okay. Xia Jiang'an nodded. Xiaowen. What's the matter? Mother Xia hesitated for a moment, but still asked, Xiaowen, why did you come back with your aunt? After all, her son had only met Miss Qin once, which could explain why Mother Xia was worried. She was worried that her son would offend Miss Qin. After all, according to rumors, Miss Qin was not an easy person to get along with. When Xia Jiang'an heard his mother's question, his heart started beating wildly and he felt a little nervous. Is my mother doubting something? Xiaowen, when you are with your aunt, you must not be disrespectful like you are with your mother. You must respect your elders. Do you understand? It's no wonder that Xia's mother was worried. She knew her son's personality very well. He had been naughty since he was young and was not afraid of anyone. Elder? Damn elders. What Qin Yuwan did to him, is that something an elder can do? Mom, if you knew what Miss Qin, whom you always call an elder and respect in your heart, did to your son, would you still respect her like this? Xia Jiang'an complained bitterly in his heart. Okay, I understand, my dear mother. Seeing that Xia's mother didn't notice anything, Xia Jiang'an breathed a sigh of relief, hugged Xia's mother's shoulders, and walked into their house together. Because of Qin Yuwan's visit, the Qin family had a sumptuous dinner. At the table, Qin Wuder kept picking up dishes for his sister-in-law. But Xia Jiang'an saw that Qin Yuwan didn't touch the dishes even with a chopstick until she had eaten her fill and put down her bowl and chopsticks. Humph! You deserve it. It's your fault for having eyes in the sky. Xia Jiang'an really disliked Qin Wuder and was happy to see him make a fool of himself.
Butler, tell people to clean the room I used to live in. I will live here from now on. After dinner, Qin Yuwan gave the order indifferently. Second aunt, will you live in the Qin residence from now on? Qin Wood was immediately pleasantly surprised, with a smile on his face. If second aunt lives here for a long time, wouldn't he have more opportunities to spend time with her in the future? What? Is this female devil going to live here from now on? Qin Yuan's words were like a thunderclap in a clear sky, causing a huge wave in Xia Jiang'an's heart. Chapter 21 Angry Again. If Qin Yuwan lived in the Qin residence, wouldn't the affair between him and his aunt be easily exposed? Also, Xia Jiang'an originally thought that even if he agreed to be Qin Yuwan's man, she was a big shot and must be very busy, so she would definitely have little time to spend with him. Therefore, Xia Jiang'an was glad about it. Who would have thought that before the joy had worn off, Qin Yuwan wanted to come back and live with us? Xia Jiang'an was extremely unwilling to let Qin Yuwan live in the Qin residence, but he was powerless to stop it. I feel so worried. After Qin Yuwan finished speaking, she got up and went upstairs to the study without saying anything else. Qin Yuwan has an extraordinary status in this family. When Xia Jiang'an returned to his room, he saw the servants were cleaning the room next to his, and he discovered something even more worrying. Qin Yuwan actually lives next door to him. Oh my god, could you please stop playing tricks on me? Butler Ju, is this where my aunt's original room was? Yes, second young master. Originally, Xia Jiang'an still held some hope, hoping that things would not develop as he imagined, but the words of Butler Ju were like a bucket of cold water poured over him, chilling him thoroughly. Is this world against him? Thump. Close the door, lock it, and go to sleep. Xia Jiang'an lay in bed, tossing and turning, unable to sleep. Suddenly, he rolled his eyes. There was something he had almost forgotten. Suddenly, Xia Jiang'an, who was lying on the bed, stood up quickly. Feed medicine. He was drunk last night and had sex with Qin Yuwan again in a daze, and then was raped by that female devil Qin Yuwan again. Xia Jiang'an is still young, and he and his aunt still have that kind of relationship, so he doesn't want to be a father. He couldn't imagine that under such circumstances, it would be too horrible if Qin Yuwan had a child. The medicine in the bedroom was bought by him after that crazy night. What are you doing? There was no sound, and Qin Yuwan's low voice was slightly cold. Thump. Xia Jiang'an was startled and lost his grip on the medicine in his hand, causing it to fall to the ground. Qin Yuwan frowned. Is it necessary for this little guy to react so strongly? How could my aunt suddenly appear in my room? He just walked into the room and locked the door on purpose, and he didn't hear any noise just now. So how did Qin Yuwan get in? Qin Yuwan's eyes were not on Xia Jiang'an, but on the medicine box that fell on the ground. Noticing Qin Yuwan's gaze, Xia Jiang'an was frightened and quickly picked up the medicine box and hid it behind him. Qin Yuwan must not know that he bought this medicine for her. Xia Jiang'an's action made Qin Yuwan's eyes slightly cold, and she asked with her bright red lips, "What's that thing behind you? Give it to me." A smooth and delicate hand stretched out, revealing a domineering and strong aura. Like a queen, she is naturally noble and everything has to submit to her. Xia Jiang'an's heart was pounding and he was a little scared. The hands hidden behind his back increased their strength, and his big eyes revealed stubbornness. Xia Jiang'an mustered up his courage and shook his head to refuse. Just as Xia Jiang'an shook his head to refuse, he could feel that the temperature in the room was dropping rapidly. Under the pressure of that powerful aura, Xia Jiang'an didn't even dare to look up at Qin Yuwan. Her aura is really too strong. Qin Yuwan took a step closer to him, while Xia Jiang'an took a step back in fear. Seeing that Xia Jiang'an dared to retreat, Qin Yuwan's brows, as cold as an iceberg, frowned unhappily. Qin Yuwan approached again aggressively. Xia Jiang'an retreated, but found that there was a wall behind him and he had nowhere to retreat. Give me what it is. Qin Yuwan said arrogantly. I won't give it to you. This is mine. Why should I show it to you? Xia Jiang'an shook his head and refused again. Qin Yuwan's gaze became more and more profound. She liked obedient people. You are completely mine. Can't I see your things? Give it to me. I don't want to say it again. Qin Yuwan was very patient when facing this little guy. If anyone else dared to disobey her again and again, that person would definitely never be able to appear in front of her again. Qin Yuwan's eyes were like sharp swords. Xia Jiang'an met her gaze and was hurt by it. In the end, Xia Jiang'an could not withstand Qin Yuwan's powerful oppression and was forced to hand the medicine box to her. Qin Yuwan took the medicine box and carefully read the introduction information on it. Xia Jiang'an stood aside, not daring to make a sound. Gradually, Xia Jiang'an felt that the air around him was getting colder and colder, and the feeling of oppression and suffocation was getting stronger and stronger. Finally, Qin Yuwan finished reading the instructions on the medicine box, her face sullen, and a cold aura emanating from her body. "Tell me, why did you buy this medicine? Is it for me?" Qin Yuwan's voice was cold, revealing strong displeasure. Qin Yuwan was a little angry. This kind of medicine has serious side effects on girls and is very bad for their health. Why should this little guy care about her body? Humph! Why are you so fierce? He bought the medicine for her with good intentions, so why should she be so mean to him? Besides, Qin Yuwan had her own reasons for needing to take this medicine. "I don't want to be a father," Xia Jiang'an muttered, looking at Qin Yuwan with a fearless look. "You don't want to have a baby with me? Then who do you want to have a baby with?" Qin Yuwan suddenly became angry and threw the medicine box away with force. Her tone was terrifying and chilling. "Do you want to have a baby with your sweetheart? Answer me quickly." Qin Yuwan pinched Xia Jiang'an's chin hard with a cold look. When Qin Yuwan thought that the little guy she liked actually wanted to have a baby with another woman, she was furious and jealous to the point of going crazy. It is obvious that Qin Yuwan's focus is different from Xia Jiang'an's. Xia Jiang'an's original intention is just, he doesn't want to have children. However, Xia Jiang'an was too lazy to explain, since his meaning was already very clear. "No matter who it is, this is my own body. I can have a baby with whoever I want. Whoever I want to have a baby with is my business. Is it your business?" Xia Jiang'an has never been a soft persimmon that can be bullied. At this moment, he was also angry and furious. It was clearly her fault, and she was the one who forced himself, but why did she always look down on him, and why did she make him bow down to her? He, Xia Jiang'an, just wouldn't accept it. And Xia Jiang'an's words, "I can have the baby with whoever I want. It's my own business whoever I want to have the baby with," completely angered Qin Yuwan, a woman with a strong possessiveness. Her man actually wanted to have a child with someone else, unless Qin Yuwan died. "Xia Jiang'an, you belong to me, Qin Yuwan, so of course I have the right to manage you. Don't forget, you are still my man." "Mum." The next moment, with an angry kiss, he pressed down hard. This punishment was extremely intense and crazy. Qin Yuwan bit her teeth like crazy. It was as if he wanted to leave his own mark on Xia Jiang'an. Chapter 22. This woman is simply crazy. Xia Jiang'an almost fainted from lack of oxygen, but Qin Yuwan showed no sympathy. "Qin Yuwan, please let me go, let me go." Xia Jiang'an leaned against the wall, using the force from behind. With a push of both hands, Qin Yuwan was pushed away and took a few steps back. "Qin Yuwan, what do you want to do? This is my home." Xia Jiang'an was shocked and scared. Qin Yuwan was simply a female devil. This woman is simply crazy. She is not worried about exposing their relationship at all and acts in a domineering and arrogant manner. "What do I want to do?" Qin Yuwan, who was pushed away, curled the corners of her mouth, stepped forward with her beautiful legs, and approached Xia Jiang'an again. Qin Yuwan stood in front of Xia Jiang'an, their noses so close that they were almost touching. The delicate red lips moved and she whispered two words. Xia Jiang'an could clearly see Qin Yuwan's straight eyelashes. Because they were very close to each other, when Qin Yuwan spoke, he didn't know whether it was intentional or not, but her warm breath sprayed on his neck, which made him feel hot and itchy. "Female hooligan." When Xia Jiang'an heard the two words Qin Yuwan said, his eyes widened with disbelief on his face. Xia Jiang'an never thought that Qin Yuwan, who appeared to be cold and aloof, could actually say such shameless words. It simply refreshed his cognition. "Female hooligan. Okay, then I'll be more outrageous." Qin Yuwan didn't care about Xia Jiang'an's scolding at all. Realizing what the woman was about to do, Xia Jiang'an quickly stopped her and said, "No. We can't do this anymore. Aren't you afraid of getting pregnant?" Xia Jiang'an also knew that it was very harmful for girls to take that kind of medicine. Hearing what Xia Jiang'an said, Qin Yuwan was slightly stunned, her beautiful eyes were unfathomable. What the little guy said is actually not wrong. Girls really cannot take this kind of medicine.
However, the arrow is on the string and has to be shot. Seeing that Qin Yuwan stopped her attack, Xia Jiang'an secretly breathed a sigh of relief. He was really afraid of what she would do here. This is his bedroom. If someone finds out, it would be terrible. However, Xia Jiang'an didn't know Qin Yuwan very well, so how could he let go easily under such circumstances? Next time, we'll take safety measures. Forget it this time. I'm in my safe period now, so it's not a big problem. After Qin Yuwan finished speaking, she didn't give Xia Jiang'an a chance to refute and kissed him passionately again. It's a safe period now, so it's not a big problem. This woman has such a big heart. At this moment, 1,000 horses were running through Xia Jiang'an's mind. This woman is like a tiger that never gets tired. From last night till now, doesn't she feel tired? Female devil Qin Yuwan, I wish you have your period every day. Xia Jiang'an cursed Qin Yuwan in his heart. Xia Jiang'an struggled hard, but he was no match for the woman. He was like a sheep in a fence, at the mercy of others. When Xia Jiang'an woke up again, it was already early morning of the next day. Last night, Xia Jiang'an fell asleep during the process. Devil Qin Yuwan. What, it's 7 o'clock now. Xia Jiang'an, who was lying on the big bed, suddenly stood up. Xia Jiang'an likes to sleep in, so his mother usually wakes him up at 7 in the morning. After so many years, this has become a habit. It will soon be 7 o'clock, and Xia's mother will be here soon, but Qin Yuwan is still here. What to do? Xia Jiang'an looked at the time again. Mother Xia would be here in 3 minutes. Xia Jiang'an quickly lifted the quilt and saw Qin Yuwan lying beside him. That beautiful face, she looked beautiful and peaceful as she fell asleep, with the corners of her mouth raised, as if she was very content. Qin Yuwan's satisfaction made Xia Jiang'an very unhappy. However, now is not the time to worry about these things. Qin Yuwan, get up quickly, my mother is coming. Xia Jiang'an didn't bother to put on his clothes and quickly shook the woman beside him. Why does it feel like the affair is about to be discovered? Qin Yuwan was a very vigilant person and had a light sleep. She woke up when Xia Jiang'an shook her slightly. She opened her beautiful eyes, and deep in them there was a hint of displeasure at being woken up. It's rare for her to sleep so soundly, why did the little guy wake her up? Qin Yuwan easily suffers from insomnia at night and always has trouble sleeping. But she didn't know why. As long as she held Xia Jiang'an in her arms while sleeping, she would always feel warm and sleep well. It seems that the time is not long enough. You look very energetic so early in the morning. A pleasant voice, with a hint of danger. Not long enough. How could it not be long enough? I fell asleep last night, okay? After hearing what this woman said, Xia Jiang'an was almost angry to death. No, Qin Yuwan, has it been long enough? Oh. Xia Jiang'an wanted to explain, but found that this kind of thing was difficult to explain. The more he explained, the redder his face became. Oh, Qin Yuwan, you'd better get up quickly. My mother will be here soon. If she sees you in my room, you will never be able to wash yourself clean even if you jump into the Yellow River. Xia Jiang'an was very nervous, his heart was in his throat. I'm really afraid that my mother will come early, because Xia's mother has the key to his room. Xia Jiang'an was extremely anxious at this time, but someone stretched out her delicate hand, covered the quilt again, with a calm face, as if it had nothing to do with her. It's your mother who is coming. What does it have to do with me? And it's you who is going to die, not me. There was still Xia Jiang'an's body fragrance on the quilt. She liked the smell very much and wanted to continue sleeping. After hearing what Qin Yuwan said, Xia Jiang'an was so angry that he was about to go crazy. I have never seen such an irresponsible woman. In the end, Xia Jiang'an had no choice but to get out of bed. Quickly get dressed and wash up. This was the time when Xia Jiang'an took the least time to wash and brush his teeth. He looked at the time and it was 7 o'clock. After putting on his shoes, Xia Jiang'an quickly opened the door and then closed it again, fearing that someone else would see Qin Yuwan in the room. Mom. As expected, the moment Xia Jiang'an closed the door, he saw Xia's mother at the stairs. Fine. Xia Jiang'an immediately breathed a sigh of relief. Oh, what day is today, my dear son? This is the first time I see you get up by yourself without anyone calling you. Mother Xia, who was about to wake up her son, was a little surprised when she saw Xia Jiang'an at the door. Xia Jiang'an is a person who particularly likes to stay in bed. He will never get up on his own unless someone calls him. Mom, isn't this your son's understanding of your hard work? You see, you have to wake me up so early every day, it's really too much work. Xia Jiang'an acted as if nothing had happened, with a calm face. Mom, from now on, you don't have to wake me up. I promise to get up by myself every day. What if my mother came to open the door one morning and saw Qin Yuwan in the room? It is better to take precautions. Humph. The devil girl Qin Yuwan. For your sake, I can't sleep in any longer. That's great. Mom is very relieved. Mother Xia was also very happy to hear her son's promise. Let's go, breakfast is ready. Let's go to school after eating. Today is the official start day of your school. Don't be late. Xia Jiang'an turned his head to look at his bedroom door, then followed his mother downstairs to have breakfast. Chapter 23 Smash Qin Wu's car. On their way downstairs, Xia's mother suddenly turned around and said, Xiaowen, why don't you go and ask your aunt to come down for breakfast? Mom, I think we should forget it. I think my aunt is so cold and doesn't like being disturbed. Xia Jiang'an refused without even thinking. Now Qin Yuan's room is empty. Hearing Xia Jiang'an's words, Xia's mother nodded and said, okay, forget it then. After breakfast, Qin Jishua said to Xia Jiang'an, Xiaoan, let Xiao Li take you to school later. Because Qin's house is in a wealthy area, it is not easy to get a taxi, and Qin's house is still some distance away from University A. Xia Jiang'an was about to nod in agreement, but Qin Wuder spoke first, Dad, I think we shouldn't bother Xiao Li, Xiaoan will go to school with me later. Qin Wood called him Xiaoan in a very affectionate manner. Xia Jiang'an frowned. What bad thing was this lunatic going to do next? Qin Wood is not a very enthusiastic person. Are you right, Xiaoan? Qin Wuder looked at Xia Jiang'an and smiled kindly. Seeing Qin Wuder looking at him, Xia Jiang'an was confused in his heart, but he remained calm on the surface. Xia Jiang'an also smiled and said, Uncle Qin, I will go to school with Brother Wood later. There is no need to trouble Xiao Li. This is also because Xia Jiang'an didn't want to make it difficult for his mother to live in this family, so although he and Qin Wuder had already torn their faces apart in private, in public, they were still a pair of good brothers with a very harmonious relationship. After all, my mother had just married into the Qin family, and as a son, I should think more about her. Seeing that their two sons were getting along well, Qin Jishua and Xia's mother both showed pleased smiles on their faces. Dad, Aunt Xia, let's go to school first. Qin Wood greeted them warmly with a bright smile on his face. You are so good at pretending. He says one thing on the surface and changes another behind the scenes. Xia Jiang'an watched from the side, feeling extremely contemptuous and disgusted, and almost vomited. But when Qin Wuder and Xia Jiang'an walked out of the living room and out of the sight of their elders, Qin Wuder's expression immediately changed. He glared at Xia Jiang'an who was following behind him, and said in a very unfriendly tone, Country bumpkin, why don't you catch up with me? Fuck you. Deep well ice. Xia Jiang'an was not to be outdone and followed him while cursing. Sitting in Qin Wood's blue sports car, Xia Jiang'an looked at Qin Wood's handsome face and felt confused. Wasn't this guy a good person who would kindly take him to school? What the hell is this psychopath trying to do? Forget it, let's see the situation first and act accordingly. If you want to use any inferior means, just come on. Xia Jiang'an is not afraid at all. As expected, Qin Wood had bad intentions. Something was wrong as soon as the sports car drove out of Qin's house. Hey, this doesn't look like the way to school. Xia Jiang'an spoke with discretion. Qin Wood and he studied in the same university. Xia Jiang'an was a freshman studying the fine arts department, while Qin Wood was a sophomore studying the acting department. However, Qin Wood ignored Xia Jiang'an's question and instead of stopping the car, he sped up. Looking out the car window, Xia Jiang'an could sense that they were getting farther and farther away from the school. This was not the way to school at all. What on earth does this little scumbag Qin Wood want to do? 10 minutes later, just before Xia Jiang'an was about to go crazy and want to hit someone, Qin Wood finally stopped the car. Deep well ice. Xia Jiang'an gave Qin Wood, who was sitting in the driver's seat, a grim look on his face, then got up and got out of the car. After getting out of the car, Xia Jiang'an was stunned. Qin Wuder, this little scum, actually drove the car to a deserted place. Xia Jiang'an immediately felt something was wrong, but unfortunately, he was still a step slow to react.
Before Xia Jiang'an got into the car again, Qin Wood had already locked the door. Open the door, open the door. Xia Jiang'an got angry and slammed the car door hard. Qin Wood in the car opened the window a little, with a disdainful smile on his handsome face. Country bumpkin, just walk slowly from here to school. I tell you, this is a desolate mountain and wilderness, you can forget about getting a taxi, har har har. Fuck you. Qin Wood, I'll fuck your ancestors. You are such a bitch. Xia Jiang'an was really angry and glared at Qin Wooder fiercely. Qin Wooder is such a despicable little scumbag. He had planned it all out long ago. Today is the first day of school. Every student must be present, and no lateness or leave is allowed. Students who are late will have 5 points deducted. Qin Wood felt a chill on his back when he was stared at by Xia Jiang'an's fierce eyes. That look was quite scary. What's there to be afraid of? He's just a country bumpkin. Qin Wood quickly adjusted his mood. Country bumpkin, just walk to school. Oh, by the way, you probably don't know the way, so I'm a good brother, so I'll kindly tell you that the direction of the school is over there, har 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 har. Qin Wooder maintained a condescending attitude and laughed arrogantly. He was teasing Xia Jiang'an. Xia Jiang'an became even angrier. Whatman, what do they think of him? Doesn't he even realize that he has the ability to do this? When I was in school in my hometown, he was the one who bullied others. Who would dare to ride on his head and shit on him without caring about his life? If he doesn't bully others, others should be thankful. But now, this little scum Qin Wooder actually dared to act arrogantly in front of him. A cold light flashed in Xia Jiang'an's eyes. He bent down and picked up 2 stones from the roadside, each about the size of a fist. Xia Jiang'an narrowed his eyes slightly, sneered and asked, "Do you want to open the door or not? If not, I will smash your broken car. I'll count to 1, 3. 1. Qin Wood smiled disdainfully as if he had heard a huge joke. Country bumpkin, you think you can smash my car? Do you know how expensive my car is? My car is a limited edition, more than 2 million. Even if I sell you, you can't even buy a tire for my car. 2. Xia Jiang'an's tone was very cold, like a gust of wind, very calm, and he ignored what Qin Wooder said. Ouch. Are you still pretending? I won't open the door. I want to see if you dare to smash my car. 3. Clang. There was a sound of car glass breaking. You country bumpkin, you actually dared to smash my car. I won't let you go. Qin Wood screamed crazily, his facial features becoming ferocious like a demon. Just shut up. Xia Jiang'an remained calm and without a second thought, he threw the last stone in his hand directly in the direction of Qin Wood. Seeing the stone flying towards him, Qin Wood was frightened and his face turned pale. Xia Jiang'an, you are crazy. You actually want to kill me. Finally, the stone hit the car window and the glass broke. If the stone moved another 5 centimeters to the right, then this stone will definitely hit Qin Wood's head. You're crazy, you're a lunatic. Qin Wooder was still in shock and looked at Xia Jiang'an as if he were a madman, with deep fear in his eyes. Seeing Xia Jiang'an glaring at him with a fierce look, he was scared to death. Qin Wood quickly drove away. You idiot, with your ability, you dare to fight me. Xia Jiang'an looked at the rear of Qin Wooder's fleeing car with disdain on his face. However, Xia Jiang'an's pride did not last long, and soon his brows began to frown again. My God, there is no way to get a taxi in this desolate mountain area. How will he get to school? What's even more unfortunate is that he didn't know where his cell phone was lost since yesterday. Chapter 24. His rescuer arrives. Xia Jiang'an walked in the opposite direction for more than 20 minutes, and his 2 thin legs began to feel sore. Besides, it's still winter, and cold wind blows on him from time to time, making him extremely cold. I don't know if Xia Jiang'an was just too unlucky or if this road was too remote. Not to mention cars, there wasn't even a dog to be seen. Is there anyone here? Is there a car? Xia Jiang'an shouted a few times at the top of his voice, but this was in the wilderness and even a sparrow ignored him. It's all over now. It's all over. The counselor is going to catch me again. With his petty personality, I'm afraid it will be more than just a matter of deducting credits. Xia Jiang'an's handsome face wrinkled into a ball, he was so sad. Forget it, let's keep going. Xia Jiang'an felt a little sad for a moment, but a bright and sunny smile appeared on his face again and he cheered himself up again. Huh!
It seems that God has been kind to me. At the end of the road, a car was heading towards Xia Jiang'an, facing the rising sun. The car was driving very fast, as if it was going through something very urgent, and dust was flying all over the sky, as if the car had wings. His rescuer is here. Xia Jiang'an was ecstatic, his eyes shining as he stared at the car coming from the front. Before long, the car was getting closer and closer to him. This car looks familiar, I seem to have seen it somewhere. Hey! Master, stop for a moment. Oh, cough cough cough. Xia Jiang'an stood on the side of the road and waved vigorously, trying to get the car to stop. However, the car was driving at high speed and ignored Xia Jiang'an. It whooshed past him and choked Xia Jiang'an with dust. Hey, since I'm so handsome, can't you help pour me a little? Xia Jiang'an looked at the car driving away in a cloud of dust, feeling discouraged. The car was going so fast that it mercilessly disappeared from Xia Jiang'an's sight in a short while. After waiting for more than 20 minutes, I only saw this car. Helpless, Xia Jiang'an could only keep moving forward. As he was walking, he suddenly heard a noise behind him. Xia Jiang'an turned around and was surprised. Behind him, the car that had just passed by him drove back again. Is it because I'm too handsome? Just as Xia Jiang'an was daydreaming, the car had already stopped and the window was rolled down. Hurry up and get in. Just 3 short words, but they give me a very familiar feeling. Xia Jiang'an raised his head and looked into the car. Qin Yuwan. Come up first, and we'll talk later. The car door opened, and Qin Yuwan, dressed in military uniform, looked serious and had a strong aura. Okay. Xia Jiang'an was stunned for a moment, then got in the car obediently. So warm. As soon as he entered the car, Xia Jiang'an felt his whole body surrounded by warmth, which made him feel very comfortable and warm. Stretch out your hand. Familiar tone, familiar command. Why? Xia Jiang'an expressed his confusion, with doubt in his big eyes. Just stretch it out when I told you to. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Qin Yuwan was impatient, with a cold face. Listen, this arrogant tone, does she really think she is the queen? Although he felt uncomfortable with it, Xia Jiang'an quickly extended his 2 cold hands when the air around him turned cold. No matter what she wants to do, it's better not to make this woman angry. After spending these days together, Xia Jiang'an knew that Qin Yuwan liked people who were obedient and didn't like people who disobeyed her. Xia Jiang'an finally understood that he must not disobey her, otherwise he would not be able to bear the consequences. As soon as Xia Jiang'an stretched out his 2 fair hands, they were caught by Qin Yuwan's 2 small hands. His hand was suddenly held, and Xia Jiang'an subconsciously pulled it back, but he didn't expect that Qin Yuwan's hand would increase its strength and hold his 2 hands tightly. Don't move. I will be rude if you move again. Qin Yuwan's pleasant voice sounded above his head. Xia Jiang'an shrank back in fear, not daring to struggle anymore, and obediently let her hold him. Although her palms are not big, they are a little rough because she is a soldier, but it does not affect her appearance. Her palms were not cold at all, on the contrary they were very warm. Xia Jiang'an's cool hands were wrapped up as if surrounded by a ball of warmth. Xia Jiang'an waited for a long time, Qin Yuwan's hand wrapped around his hand, and then there was no other movement. Xia Jiang'an couldn't help but feel a little confused. Qin Yuwan asked him to stretch out his hand in a fierce manner, just to warm his hands. Xia Jiang'an quietly raised his head and looked at Qin Yuwan. There seemed to be stars and the sea in his big eyes. Qin Yuwan's expression was calm, cold and aloof, and Xia Jiang'an had no idea what she was thinking. Tell me, why are you here? After a minute, Qin Yuwan's tone was questioning. It's a long story. Xia Jiang'an shook his head, not wanting to tell Qin Yuwan the truth. Qin Wuder has been Qin Yuwan's nephew for nearly 20 years. Although on the surface, Qin Yuwan's attitude towards Qin Wuder is very cold, after all, they have known each other for so long. As for myself, I have not known Qin Yuwan for a long time. Strictly speaking, we are not even acquaintances. Therefore, Xia Jiang'an believed that Qin Yuwan should be more inclined towards Qin Wuder. Answer my question quickly. Hearing the little guy's perfunctory tone, Qin Yuwan frowned slightly and spoke in a more serious tone. Okay, then I'll tell you, Qin Wuder said this morning that he would take me to school, but I didn't expect that he would bring me to this remote place. When Xia Jiang'an mentioned this, he became angry. Snap. Qin Yuwan, why did you hit me?
Xia Jiang'an had just finished explaining what had just happened when he was hit lightly on the head. As expected, Qin Yuwan prefers Qin Wuder more. This was clearly Qin Wuder's fault, but Qin Yuwan punished him. At this moment, Xia Jiang'an felt indescribably sad and his eyes felt a little sore, probably because sand blew into his eyes. Are you an idiot? He parked the car here and you got out of the car like an idiot. Wait, this tone doesn't he seem to favor Qin Wood? It seemed like he was just looking down on his intelligence. I'm not a fool, I smashed his car. Xia Jiang'an said bluntly. As soon as he said this, Xia Jiang'an regretted it. Why should he explain to Qin Yuwan? Great. Qin Yuwan found the little guy's smug expression very cute. After a moment of silence, Xia Jiang'an remembered that he still had to go back to school. He looked at the time and it was exactly 8 o'clock, so he should still be in time. Qin Yuwan, can you take me to school? Xia Jiang'an originally didn't want Qin Yuwan to take him there. He didn't want to get too close to Qin Yuwan. But this road is too remote, and it is estimated that Qin Yuwan's car is the only one there. Qin Yuwan glanced at Xia Jiang'an, and a hint of warmth flashed deep in her cold, beautiful eyes. Let's go to university now. Miss, if you go to university at this time, I'm afraid you will miss the meeting. The driver replied with some embarrassment. I'll make a phone call and ask those people to wait. Am I, Qin Yuwan, not worthy enough to ask them to wait for me? Qin Yuwan was arrogant and presumptuous in her tone. The driver immediately shut up and couldn't help but look at Xia Jiang'an a few more times. This young boy is quite capable. He probably doesn't know that just now, the young lady left a very urgent meeting and an important person in order to take him to school. Chapter 25. Don't reject her. Xia Jiang'an sat next to Qin Yuwan in silence all the way, not daring to breathe. Qin Yuwan's aura was so strong that it seemed as if the aura around her was controlled by her. The car was driving very fast and soon arrived at the gate of A. Xia Jiang'an looked at the time. It was exactly 9 o'clock. There were still many students entering and leaving the school gate. The opening ceremony should not have started yet. As soon as Qin Yuwan's very unique military vehicle stopped at the school gate, it immediately attracted the attention of many students. Compared with the Porsche and Tesla next to it, this military vehicle is simply too conspicuous, arrogant and domineering. Qin Yuwan, thank you. Xia Jiang'an tidied himself up and prepared to get off the car. Seeing that Qin Yuwan closed her eyes and didn't say anything, Xia Jiang'an thought she was asleep and prepared to open the door and get out of the car. Just as he put his hands on the handlebars and hadn't moved his body yet, Qin Yuwan's cold voice came from behind him. I don't need your verbal thanks, I need you to express your gratitude with practical actions. What practical actions? Xia Jiang'an was very puzzled and looked at her with a doubtful expression. It's a little dry here. Qin Yuwan gently touched her red lips with her slender and delicate fingers. Qin Yuwan's behavior made Xia Jiang'an feel a little uneasy and he avoided her gaze. This woman's gaze was too fiery, overbearing and direct, and Xia Jiang'an didn't dare to look at her for any longer. Qin Yuwan's meaning was very clear. The actual action she wanted was for him to kiss her. At this moment, Xia Jiang'an was annoyed that he was too smart. How could he understand Qin Yuwan's meaning just from one action? Am I not pure anymore? Hurry up, I don't have that much time. Seeing that Xia Jiang'an was slow to respond, Qin Yuwan urged. Humph. Isn't it just two pieces of flesh touching each other? Just think of it as a kiss from Teddy. Xia Jiang'an raised his head suddenly, his handsome face flushed red, like a dragonfly skimming the water. Xia Jiang'an? You've tried it so many times, how come you still can't learn how to kiss? I guess you need to practice more in the future. Qin Yuwan was not satisfied with just a light kiss and took the initiative. Qin Yuwan's kiss is as overbearing as she is, and she never allows others to go against her ideas. Very overbearing and suffocating. Xia Jiang'an instinctively wanted to refuse and unconsciously clenched his teeth. Feeling Xia Jiang'an's resistance, Qin Yuwan's beautiful eyes became even colder. Qin Yuwan placed her hand on Xia Jiang'an's head, exerting a little force with a hint of punishment. Feeling like he was about to suffocate, Xia Jiang'an had to open his mouth and try to breathe more air. It was at this time that Qin Yuwan achieved her goal. Xia Jiang'an was defeated. Inside the car, Qin Yuwan sat very straight, serious and indifferent. Xia Jiang'an, who was lying on Qin Yuwan's slender legs, had a rosy face as bright as a cherry. Next time, don't reject me again. Qin Yuwan was arrogant, her eyes were cold and serious, and she lifted Xia Jiang'an's chin with her slender and delicate fingers. Xia Jiang'an was angry and protested in his heart, this woman was too domineering and dictatorial. Why should I cooperate? Xia Jiang'an, lying on his legs, felt very unconvinced, but when he thought of the consequences of his disobedience just now. It seems that the consequences of disobedience are quite serious. If it's acceptable this time, will the punishment be more severe next time? Finally, after a mental struggle, Xia Jiang'an nodded obediently. Okay, I understand. Xia Jiang'an's tone was unhappy and sounded perfunctory. This made Qin Yuwan very unhappy. Little guy, you actually want to reject her? Qin Yuwan raised her eyebrows. She was always cautious in doing things and didn't like any perfunctory attitude. What she wanted was real obedience. Tell me, next time you won't refuse me anything. Qin Yuwan spoke lightly, her voice was low and pleasant to hear, but it was also dangerous. Oh my god. Are you pushing it even further? This young master has already compromised a lot, okay? What else do you want from him? If it were someone else, with Xia Jiang'an's hot temper, he would have slapped him in the face a long time ago. However, the person in front of him was the evil female Qin Yuwan, and even if Xia Jiang'an was extremely brave, he did not dare to refuse. The most he could do was to curse Qin Yuwan in his heart, just to satisfy his urge to talk. Qin Yuwan, next time you kiss me, I won't refuse you. As long as you feel comfortable. After saying this, Xia Jiang'an screamed in his heart, this is simply a shame. It's so frustrating, there's no way out. After hearing what Xia Jiang'an said, Qin Yuwan let go of her hand contentedly, but her tone was still cold and warning. Since you are a smart man, I hope you will not forget what you said next time. Don't be such an idiot, you agreed 1 second and forgot the next. Qin Yuwan's words made Xia Jiang'an look upset. Qin Yuwan, can we still get along happily? Why do you have to be so harsh and irritating when you speak? Xia Jiang'an knew what Qin Yuwan said. Last time he agreed to be her man, but later he went against his will. Okay, Qin Yuwan, I'll remember it. I will always remember your teachings to me. Hearing this, Qin Yuwan looked at Xia Jiang'an's innocent and clear big eyes, from which one could see the dissatisfaction deep in her eyes. Har har, the little guy is really stubborn. Qin Yuwan, it's getting late. I'll go into school first. Bye. Picking up his school bag, Xia Jiang'an hurried away as if he was running away. Fortunately, Qin Yuwan did not stop him. When Xia Jiang'an walked out of the car, he attracted the attention of many students, because just looking at the shape of the car, one could tell that it must be worth a lot of money, so many people were curious about who would get out of the car. Qin Wuder, who was hiding in the crowd, looked pale. When he saw Xia Jiang'an getting out of the car, his eyes became vicious. After entering the school gate, Xia Jiang'an hurried to the school auditorium. Fortunately, the opening ceremony had not yet started. Xia Jiang'an looked towards the venue and soon found his class. Brother Jiang, I'm here. Here. He Ting, who arrived early, also saw Xia Jiang'an and waved to him. He Ting, nothing happened to you that night, right? As soon as the two met, Xia Jiang'an asked worriedly. Chapter 26. He is Xia Jiang'an and also Xingchen. All kinds of bad things happened yesterday, and I couldn't find my cell phone, so I couldn't contact He Ting. No, I'm fine. On the contrary, I called you many times, but you didn't answer. I was worried about you. Seeing his friend's caring eyes, Xia Jiang'an felt warm inside. It was great that there were still friends in this world who treated him sincerely. Don't worry, I'm fine. Xia Jiang'an patted his shoulder and comforted him. I just have a worrying thing. I don't know where I lost my cell phone. Xia Jiang'an's originally bright smile immediately turned extremely dejected. He bought that cell phone by working hard during the vacation of his second year of high school. It must be very precious. Xia Jiang'an felt very distressed, as he would have to work again to buy a mobile phone. I feel sorry for you, too. He Ting gave him a distressed look. Look, Shen Jinfeng is here too. He looks so pale. He must have had diarrhea for a long time yesterday. Xia Jiang'an followed He Ting's gaze and, sure enough, Shen Jinfeng was walking in at the entrance of the meeting hall. Xiaofeng, here, I've reserved a seat for you. Xia Jiang'an stood up and waved enthusiastically. When Shen Jinfeng saw Xia Jiang'an waving at him, contempt and resentment appeared in his eyes,
but he hid it well and walked over with a smile. Xiaofeng, did you go to the hospital for a checkup after you returned home that night? How was the situation? Was it because you ate something wrong? Xia Jiang'an asked with concern as Shen Jianfeng just sat down. I'm fine now. Thank you, Jiang'an. You are really my good brother. Shen Jianfeng smiled, exuding the temperament of a male god. Only he knew that he had diarrhea all day yesterday, but he didn't want to make a fool of himself in front of Xia Jiang'an. Well, we are good brothers for life. Xia Jiang'an also laughed. Looking at the stupid Xia Jiang'an, Shen Jianfeng sneered in his heart, this fool is so easy to fool. However, Shen Jianfeng did not expect that Xia Jiang'an also had a mocking sneer on his face where he could not see. The opening ceremony finally ended. The councillors of various majors spoke for a long time and did some other things. At about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Xia Jiang'an walked out of the school. Xia Jiang'an has a dormitory at school, but he rarely lives there because he wants to go home and spend more time with his mother. Brother Jiang, it's still early. Are you going home so soon? Otherwise, let's find a place to play. When they were leaving, Ting tried to persuade her to stay. Oh, it's not that I don't want to play, it's just that my phone was lost and I have to work to earn money to buy a new one. Xia Jiang'an shook his head helplessly. Okay then, see you tomorrow. Ting knew that it would be difficult to change his friend's mind once he had made up his mind to do something, so he didn't force it. Ting actually had the ability to give his friend a new phone, but he knew very well that his friend would definitely refuse. He even refused the money given by his stepfather, let alone him. That's right, Qin Jishue would give Xia Jiang'an a lot of living expenses every month, but Xia Jiang'an would always return it in full, except for the red envelope given at the last wedding, which was a special case. This is also because, when Xia's mother married into the Qin family, many relatives and friends of the Qin family gossiped about her. Some said that she was greedy for money, and some said that a sparrow could turn into a phoenix after flying to a branch. In short, they said all kinds of unpleasant things. Xia Jiang'an has his own dignity. So, when Qin Jishue wanted to give him money, he refused without hesitation, and when Qin Jishue wanted to buy him a car, he also refused. Part of Xia Jiang'an's tuition and living expenses were paid by his mother, and the other part came from Xia Jiang'an's part-time job and various scholarships from the school. If he didn't spend the Qin family's money, those people would have no handle to gossip about him. Bye-bye. After the two separated at the school gate, Xia Jiang'an carried his school bag and went to the bus stop to wait for the bus. He was going to the place where he often worked. 10 minutes later, Xia Jiang'an got off the bus at a street corner. After walking 1 or 2 meters forward, he could see bars with unique decoration styles on both sides of the road. This is a bar street, and Xia Jiang'an is familiar with the place. He came to a bar called Star Wish. It's 5 o'clock in the afternoon and not yet evening, so there are not many people in the bar. The owner of this bar is a beauty. Everyone calls her Sister Hua. She is very charming and beautiful, with a pretty face. She is the kind of fairy image that is very popular with men. If Xia Jiang'an is not busy, he often comes here to work and earn money, so he is quite familiar with Sister Hua. Xingchen, you haven't come to work here for a long time. Have you forgotten about me? Sister Hua's voice is just like her appearance, very enchanting and charming, like a fairy. Sister Hua, I didn't forget. Look, I'm here again. Xia Jiang'an responded with a smile. It's still the same as before, from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., 300 yuan. If you get customers to buy more drinks, I can give you more commission. Okay, Sister Hua, I'll go pack up first. Xia Jiang'an often comes here to work and is very satisfied with the price. Xia Jiang'an is not a permanent employee here, he just comes here to do odd jobs, and it is already pretty good for him to get this salary. He is already content with earning a few hundred yuan a day. If he works a few more days, he can buy a new mobile phone. Come on, Xia Jiang'an. At 6 o'clock in the evening, the whole city was shrouded in darkness, and the bar street full of lights and nightlife began to flow with people. The bars under neon lights seem like a safe haven, allowing people to find comfort and happiness in the dark and feel the pulse of the city. Passionate music officially opens the exciting nightlife. In the Star Wish bar, the dazzling neon lights are colorful, the passionate music seems to pierce the eardrums, and the crowds are bustling. At this time, Xia Jiang'an backstage had already become a different person. His previous clean and neat casual clothes had long been changed into handsome stage costumes. His face also changed, with some light makeup on. Yes, Xia Jiang'an has two faces. He once learned makeup from an old lady for a period of time. His makeup skills are very good, even not inferior to the top makeup artists in the country. Because he didn't want to get into trouble, Xia Jiang'an would put on another face every time he went out to work. He has two identities, one is Xia Jiang'an and the other is Xingqian. One represents innocence and sunshine, while the other represents rebellion and depravity. When Xia Jiang'an was in high school, he had a very rebellious and decadent experience. Liu Yuyan, the rebellious boy she knew, was called Xingqian. Because of his excellent dancing skills, Xia Jiang'an is somewhat famous in Star Wish. No, his name should be Xingqian. Next, please welcome our nightclub prince, Xingqian. Woo! Stars! Stars! Xia Jiang'an's appearance instantly ignited the atmosphere of the entire venue. Accompanied by the dynamic and exciting songs, Xia Jiang'an moved, looking handsome and unrestrained, with a strong stage presence. All in all, it's so cool. Tonight, let's forget our troubles and dance together. Stars! Stars! Unconsciously, Xia Jiang'an's dance infected everyone present, and the people in the audience also began to move, swaying to the explosive music. Dancing is very physically demanding, and by the end of the song, Xia Jiang'an was already sweating profusely. Qin Yuwan. Xia Jiang'an was about to step down when he inadvertently looked towards the hotel entrance and his expression suddenly changed.